Here, let's go back.
Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to today's episode of today's podcast, Tuned In Live. You're watching us live on twitch.tv/arrow with a name. If you're over there, hit that follow button. We're also live on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. If you're watching us over there, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Also, live in the Discord, so if you guys want to be on today's show, if you want to hop on in, feel free to discuss today's events on today's show. Discord link is down below in the description section. Go on down there if you're on Discord. Click that link, hop on in. We're over in the general voice chat. So today it's a hard day for some. Well, not for some, for many. It's a hard day for many people. 9/11. Can you believe today is the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. 22nd, 22 years since that morning. A lot of us woke up. A lot of us were out and about working, getting coffee, sitting in school, and we learned about this tragic event that has happened 22 years ago. And it feels like the government and a lot of ignorant people have forgotten. It feels like they've all forgotten what today means. feel like 9/11 doesn't exist to them. It's almost like they sit there and say, well, it happened. I mean, you had planes crashing down and people died and buildings burned. Like, what does it matter? It matters a lot to us. 9/11 matters a lot to everybody right now. A lot of us who are still missing family members, friends who perished that morning in those plane crashes. When they hit those two towers in New York, when the other plane hit the Pentagon, when the other one got shot down in the field. I forgot, it was between Pennsylvania and Virginia. I forgot what field it was shot down in. If anybody here can correct me on that. I forgot where that was. That last plane was shot down at, but I believe it was headed for either a historical event or a historical place, or it was heading for the White House or something. I forgot where they said it was going to. Well, 4 planes that were shot down. Well, 4 planes that went down, not shot down. I'm sorry. 4 planes that were hijacked and they all went down. Hundreds of lives perished that morning. Where were you guys at that morning when it happened? It was like, what, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. I don't remember it vaguely. I remember it almost like it was yesterday. I was sitting there. Charlie Don't Surf. Hello, buddy. Welcome to the show over there on YouTube, man. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting there in 10th grade, 4th period. Teacher was Miss Pearson. It was an English class. English 9. No, it's English 10. I'm sorry. It was English 10. Miss Pearson. We had just got in. It's a sad day, man. Today is a very sad day for a lot of people, a lot of families. I was sitting there in English class. We had just got there. We were there for maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes. What's going on, Viral, over there on Twitch? What's going on, man? I was sitting there. And between the previous period and that period, I kept hearing classmates saying, we might be going home early this morning. We might be going home. Did you hear? And I'm like, I'm sitting there vaguely hearing all this. I'm like, we're going home early. What the hell? But I was starting to get excited, I'm like, okay, well, what's all this about early dismissal? I'm all for it. Shit, let's go home. I didn't know what was going on. Some people were like, nah, we're not going to go home. And then others were like, yeah, we're going to go home. Something happened. We're going to early dismissal. They're going to announce it. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, nah, these they're nuts. They're, we're not going home early. I mean, I would love to, but I know we're not. So then the principal came in on the intercom and started talking about it, and even some of the teachers start putting the TV on. They, we remember that we had the old tube TVs, in the classrooms that were hanging up from the ceiling, not the flat screens that people, look at today, like we had those big boxy TVs, the good ones. Some of the teachers had those turned on, the news, and a lot of classrooms were watching it on the news, what had happened. And we didn't have it on TV ourselves, but, the principal came on and said that today was a tragedy, a very sad day, sitting there and stuff. Well, I am sitting here and I'm doing stuff. But yeah, we were just sitting there, and the principal was talking about this event that was happening, talking about the plane went into the tower 1, and then the other plane came by and went in tower 2, and right, I think at that point they said the first tower had just collapsed and the second one wasn't too far behind it. And then we come to find out later on that day that the Pentagon was hit, and there was another one that was shot down over a field somewhere. So while the principal was sitting there talking about it, and she said, let's have a moment, a moment of silence for those people who had perished this morning in this grave tragedy. So everybody sat there, for a minute. And then after the minute was up, The principal's like, in a few moments, we're going to begin early dismissal. So have everything prepared when the bell rings. Nobody panic. Nobody run out and panic, Just go out in orderly fashion. Be as calm as you can be. Grab your stuff and then head out to the buses. We'll make sure all the buses are here. So everything happened. We ended up getting on our buses and we ended up home. That day, schools closed. A lot of businesses closed. And I think they said there was a lot of trouble with the phone systems. Back then, cell phones, they weren't fairly new. I mean, people had cell phones since the 1980s and shit. But with the cellular network being kind of fairly new in a sense for everybody, the cellular network was going haywire, and nobody can get a hold of anybody. It was like a pandemic, of proportions, like people were trying to get a hold of family members and friends to find out what happened, to see who all was on the plane, who all died, this and that, make sure everybody was safe. Everybody was hearing about it. All I could really think about that day, I knew it was a real tragedy, but I had just asked out my ex the day before. My ex-girlfriend in high school, I just asked her out the day before that. And I was kind of looking forward to seeing her at lunch, because we were like one period away from lunchtime, and I was like, well, shit. I'm not going to be able to see her now. Luckily, I got her phone number and all, but hopefully I can, get a hold of her and all. But we talked that afternoon, we talked on the phone for hours, talked about the events and all, and we were out of school for like 2 days. That day we got out early. The next day we were out. If I can remember, let me see here. I'm gonna need to pull up my calendar here. Let's see. The year was 2001. When did that happen on? Let's see. September. Happened on a Tuesday. So today's Monday. So today, Monday, would have been September 10th back then. That's when I asked my ex out, and then Tuesday it happened. So we were out Tuesday, and then we were out Wednesday. Yeah, 22nd year for 9/11 attacks. Never forget that day. I know, man. That's what I was just saying. A lot of people seem to have forgot. They seem to have forgot what 9/11 stands for. This was a day of a national tragedy, and there seems to be a lot of people who forget about it. I mean, I guess they try not to forget about it, but like this morning, I was talking to a coworker of mine. He had just came into work. He was swamped with work and shit, and I was like, I'm surprised they haven't made today a national holiday yet. And he's like, what's today? I said 9/11. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. Shit, I'm surprised they haven't done that. But isn't that true though? Shouldn't they make 9/11 a national holiday in remembrance of everything that has happened? Yeah, I'll get into that in a second there, outdoor. Biden thinks global warming's more important. I know. 9/11, we've lost so many great people. We lost so many people. We took a big hit to this nation. We suffered greatly. And I know everybody thinks George Bush is not the best Republican president that we've had in a long time. Yeah, Bush, he'd say, we're going to war, we're going to war. Was war necessary? Yes and no. But you got to think, we went to war, we went over there, and we took out a lot of people. We put our own soldiers over there on land. And then it was 10 years later, one of our guys took out Osama bin Laden. They finally took him out, and then of course, when they take out the leader, of a terrorist network, somebody else steps up, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to take over. Allahu Akbar, and then you're next, right? So a lot of people don't understand. Like back then, people thought it was all about religion. It was all about religious shit. They're attacking us because we follow God, and our religious beliefs are different, and we have it so much better. We got freedom over here. It's like it was much more than that. It was much more than that. It wasn't really about your religious freedom, whether you followed God or you followed Muhammad. It doesn't matter. the head of Al Qaeda at the time, Osama bin Laden. Nobody really knew about him. If you followed government, if you followed politics, you probably knew who Osama bin Laden was. Our own fucking CIA trained the son of a bitch back in the 80s. They trained the guy. We had a bunch of our shit over there in Afghanistan. We had our bases over there. We had a lot of stuff over there. We trained these people. We were fucking stupid for that. But then something happened around that time. Yeah, Bush did 9/11. Exactly. Bush did 9/11. Inside job. It's like I was telling my coworker this morning. I was like, you got to figure something happened in order for Al Qaeda to hit us that morning. Something happened. They don't just randomly wake up one day and say, let's hijack 4 fucking planes and run them into their nation's great, historical places and shit. Problem with Afghanistan is we didn't learn from what the Russians did in Afghanistan in the 80s. Yeah. We trained them. We gave them the espionage training and everything. We even sold them weapons, I believe, But it's like, what happened that around that time? What happened around then that caused them to do this? Will they ever know? I don't fucking know. Let's see, let's look this up here. What caused 9/11? Once again, guys, I am in Discord. If anybody wants to, feel free to join in on the VC on my server. Feel free to join in, voice your opinion, whatever. Let's see. Here's what caused 9/11. For anybody who never really looked it up or whatever. Yeah, inside job. 9/11 resulted in the confluence of multiple factors. Islamic extremism was stirred by the Iranian Revolution, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and the assassination of the Egyptian president. See, a lot of stuff we didn't even know about back then in school, They didn't teach us that. All they taught us was what they said. Say, oh, these people hate us because we're free. Our country is free. That's all they didn't know. There's a lot more to it than that. There was shit going on at the time. Nobody understood it. It was too much for people to even remotely stomach. I can't even get this one website pulled up. This is the website, what is this? Naval History and Heritage. This was posted 4 days ago. Should I read it? Let's read it. Wasn't the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania headed to the White House? That's where it crashed at. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's where I think it was headed. That's where people said it was headed. The hell is this? Breaking news. FDA approves new COVID vote booster amid... Oh, fuck. Yeah, whatever. It's a hoax. I'll cover that a little bit later in the program. Let's see. What was that? Flight 90? What flight number was that? Was it? I forgot what flight number it was that was shot down over there. Oh, Cypher. I think that people try not to think of the day. I don't think it's them being ignorant. It's a sorrowful memory that they don't want to relive. And yeah, that is true too. That is true too. You think of death. You think of families lost, friends lost, and all. And people try not to think about it. Because it's a sad day. That's like when anybody passes away in a family, like a friend or whatever, it's hard to cope with on that certain day because, I understand the meaning. I can't remember the day exactly when my mom passed away, but I would definitely feel that. Exactly. What the hell is that? Let's see. What plane was shot down 9/11? Oh, Flight 93, that's what it was. I forgot the number of it. What was the flight's target 9/11? Well, September 10th, 2001, a strong cold front swept through the eastern... what the fuck is this? Washington Compost has got random shit popping up. A strong cold front through the eastern United States, leaving behind ideal flying conditions that pilots sometimes call severe clear, or CAVU. The next morning's cobalt skies made it a perfect day for 19 Al Qaeda terrorists to carry out a twisted plot against America. at 9:28 a.m. after two hijacked jetliners struck the twin towers of the World Trade Center, and shortly before a third plane slammed into the Pentagon. Four extremists commandeered United Flight 93 out of Newark by overpowering the pilot and co-pilot as the aircraft headed west near Cleveland. The lone pilot among the hijackers, Zaid Jahar, executed a U-turn and at 9:55 dialed the navigational code for Reagan National Airport into the Boeing 757's flight computer. Jahar, of course, had no intention of landing at DCA, and the heroic revolt of the passengers that began 2 minutes later meant the jetliner crashed in the field near Shanksville, PA, less than 20 minutes flying time from the nation's capital. But what was the intended target? Flight 93? Yeah. Yeah, it was Flight 93. There was a movie that came out about that, Flight 93. I still only watched it yet, though, but I heard it was a good movie. It's probably a hard movie to watch, too. So, they targeted the Reagan National Airport, but what was the intended target, though, they say? 20 years later, now this article came out. When did this article come out? This came out 2 years ago, September 9th, 2021. 20 years later, that remains 9/11's greatest enduring mystery. The authoritative report by the Bipartisan National Commission on Terrorist Attacks upon the United States, published in 2004, was inconclusive. Let's see, I don't know about you, but if I'm on a plane that got hijacked, I'm not going to sit back and do nothing. I'm going to take flight like hell, take the plane back. I mean, that's what they did. They said, some of the passengers, they took control. They were able to barge in there and take control. That's what caused the plane to crash down. Let's see. It was found that Jahar's objective was to crash the airliner into symbols of the American Republic, the Capitol, or the White House. Although the Capitol was widely believed to have been the target, a little noticed footnote on page 531 of the 9/11 Commission report cast some doubt on that assumption. On September 9th, 2 days before the attacks, it still appears as though the White House would be the primary target for the fourth plane and the U.S. Capitol the alternate. As an editor who oversaw 9/11 coverage for USA Today, I've long wondered where Flight 93 was headed. 2 years ago, when I touched briefly on the mystery in a column about the memorial in Pennsylvania, the piece attracted widespread readership, a sign of significant interest in the question and a reminder that a new generation has come to age since 9/11. So as I dug deeper, as I read, spoke to experts, and spent time at a flight simulator with a pilot, an answer, though not 100% definitive, came more clearly into view. It suggests whose lives were saved, how the course of history was altered, and disturbingly, how the national security threat has evolved over the past 2 decades. Yeah, because of 9/11, a lot of things have changed at airports and airlines and such. Like, you can't carry certain things on board. Your bags had to be checked in a certain way. They got all this new top flight security at the airport, make sure that nobody's getting on with any type of weapons or explosives or whatever. But what was it? A few years ago, there was a terrorist that was submitted, or somebody tackled him or something on the flight. He had a bunch of different products in his pants, and he was trying to bomb the airline that he was on, and it failed. They called him the underwear bomber. It was the underwear bomber. I remember that shit. The guy smuggled soap and shit like that on the plane. He was gonna build a bomb out of bathroom products. They called him the fucking underwear bomber. It was either that or something. He had concocted something, and it set his underwear ablaze or whatever, and that's how he figured out he was trying to set something on fire or whatever. Yep, the TSA was formed November 2001. A lot of things have happened since 2001. Like, take an example. I could pull my wallet out here, okay? If you live in the state of Maryland, okay, we have these new driver's license. Now, every state has a driver's license that looks different, in comparison. Ours, it's a regular size driver's license. It has the Maryland flag on it. And this, I forgot what it's called. What type of call? Well, you got your photo on the left, and then you got your information. Your customer identifier. Your driver's license number, your name, address, and all that. But then at the top right on the driver's license, you got this little star. There's a little star that's imprinted on the card, and then you got this brief little picture. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like there's two pictures in one, and if you move the card around, you see like one image and then you see the other image. So I'm looking at it. It's one of these, if you can hear it. It's like one of those things. So it's like I see my picture and I see my birth date on there. So the little star on this driver's license, that is a new different thing from Maryland. Let me explain. So shit, I gotta renew my license next year. God damn. I have an 8-year license when I renewed it. So about 5-6 years ago, I received a note in the mail from the DMV stating I had to bring proof of identification to the DMV. I had to schedule an appointment, and I had to bring proof of identification of where I live and who I am. Because none of that information exists in the DMV's database. Now, I know they call it different things, wherever you live at. It's either the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, the MVA, the Motor Vehicle Administration. Down here in Maryland, it's MDOT, Maryland Department of Transportation. It's still a DMV to me. It's a fucking DMV. You go down there, you deal with identifications, your car, your whatever. It's still a DMV to me. I don't care what the hell they call it. So I had to go down to the DMV, and I had to struggle looking for different pieces of information to take with me. So I got my, I hate going to the DMV too. It's bad enough I got to go there next year to renew my license. Jesus Christ. But I go down there, and they require several different pieces of information, like your social security number, your birth certificate, 2 forms of mail that have your address on it, proof of registration for your vehicle, stuff like that. Different pieces. And I didn't have all the mail. I didn't have all the information. I found my social security. I had my birth certificate. At the time, the registration I had was registered to my ex at the time. Didn't really have my name on it, so I had to find some other form of information. So the only other thing that I had was a piece of junk mail that had my name on it and my address. So I took it all in, and I filled everything out. And I gave them the information. I gave them the piece of mail, and they said, "We can't take this." I was like, "Why?" "It's junk mail." I forgot what type of mail they said it was. It was like, the junk mail doesn't count. I was like, "It has my name and address on the damn thing." It still doesn't count. It's not considered a bill or anything. I was like, "Oh, Jesus fucking Christ." I said, "I don't get any bills in the mail. All my stuff is done online. Like, what the fuck else do you all need?" "Well, we can also take a bank statement if it has your address and all that." And I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." So I'm trying to use their computer. They have these kiosks set up on the side with their computers, and I'm trying to log into my bank site, my bank website, to print out a fucking pay stub form, and I'm having issues with it. And I was like, "Look, I'm gonna go home and get my fucking shit. I want to go home. Can I come back here and continue my appointment?" "Oh yeah, just come on back. Just keep your ticket and all. When you come back, just let us know." Okay. You had to get a new birth certificate. They wouldn't take my. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, they were fucking stupid with that shit. It's like they want to be very specific with everything that you needed. So I go home, and I'm trying to get everything I can. I'm looking through all my fucking paperwork and shit. I think a lot of stuff can be done online. I just renewed my Yeah, I might look into that to see if I can renew my license online. I don't feel like going down there waiting an hour and a half just to renew a card. But with this, so I got all my information. I go back down there within an hour, and I get up to the same desk, and I'm taking the forms like, bam, 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 bam. She's like, hold up. Let's check it first. I'm like, all right, because I have all these papers and shit. I have everything. I'm like throwing it at them. I'm like, here, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Like, what the fuck all do you need? Like, goddamn. All I'm trying to do is fix my license, because here's what was going to happen. So in Maryland, you had to get all this information into the DMV, and I'll tell you why in a second. And they said, as of a certain day, as a certain date, if you didn't do this, let's say you're out driving around, you're cruising down the road, you happen to go like 5 or 10 over the speed limit, and the cop pulls you over, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'm speeding, whatever, you know, and they see you want to see your license and registration, so you hand it over, and they check your license, and they said, we don't have any information for you through the DMV. I say, what the fuck do you mean? You can be there like, what do you mean? It's like, well, your information doesn't exist in the system. You know, did you go to DMV and update your information yet? That kind of thing. So that's what would happen. They said that you would basically be considered a nobody, an unperson, if you were to get pulled over by the police. Not only that, but the police would have the right on site to confiscate your fucking driver's license until you got that fixed. Which is bullshit. In Maryland, if you didn't get that fixed, that was a scare that they put on these forums, and they told people, if you don't get this fixed with the DMV, if you get pulled over or cited by a police officer and your information is not there and your license is basically invalid, they have the right to confiscate your ID. You can't go driving around or whatever. You had to get the shit fixed at the DMV, get a whole new license, whatever. It's like, that's fucking bullshit. I was so pissed when I found out about all that, you know, and I told them there, I said, look, I'm only here because I'm not going to get pulled over and have my fucking shit confiscated. You know, y'all are wrong for that shit. So, after I got my paperwork checked in, and the woman gave me a ticket and said, okay, go ahead and go wait for somebody to call you up. And I'm thinking, can't do it here? This is only the fucking check-in desk. You got to check in, you got to give them your information, all this paperwork, you got to give them all the paperwork just for them to give you a ticket number and say, okay, go wait. All right, so I go sit down, I'm waiting for about, 10, 15 minutes, not that long. And I get called up, and this nice woman at the counter, you know, she's scanning all my information into the system. I'm like, how come this is a thing now? Like, y'all should have my information in the system. Why is this needed? Apparently, when they went over to this new system with this new driver's license shit, nobody's information, or a lot of people's information, was either erased or not carried over or whatnot. They wanted to make sure people had their information in the system, make sure they had everything on file under that new driver's license. Now, I had the new ID for about 3 years. I applied for this new ID. I renewed it, and I got an 8-year ID. So it was like 2 or 3 years, you know, prior to that. And I said, I got the new ID. It's got the star on it and all. I was like, what does that mean? And she said, it basically acts like a passport. You know, rather than people, you know, like if you go to an airport or whatever, or if you're going out of, flying out of country or whatever, and you don't have a passport, that ID, your new driver's license, can provide all that information for whoever, you know, needs that, needs to do all that information, all that logging in and everything. So basically, my driver's license acts as a driver's license and a passport, basically, if I'm going out of country, in a sense. That's the whole Maryland thing. You know, that's how it was explained to me. And I was like, let me guess, everything that's happening right now is because of 9/11. And she said, yep. Ever since 9/11, a lot of things have changed, you know, with the airports, flying out, the traveling, all that stuff. So because of 9/11, because of all this shit, here it is, you know, at the time, it was like, I don't know, 16, 17 years down the road from that, and they're just now doing something with the driver's license, you know? Well, yeah, that was pretty much it. She explained it. It all has something to do with the national security, and making sure everybody's a U.S. citizen, a Maryland citizen, getting a new driver's license, with the stars on it. I don't know if every other state has the same thing. I don't know, I don't follow up on that. But yeah, Maryland, they have this little star. Yeah, Patriot Act. That's what the most unpatriotic thing country has done. I think that's what it is, the Patriot Act, yeah. But yeah, so after I got all my information in there, she scanned it into the system. She said I was good. She said I had all my information in the system. That way if I were to get pulled over, or if a police officer were to ask me for my ID for whatever and they look me up, I'm in the system. They know who I am. I was like, okay, thank you. And I was out of there. I can't remember. No, I don't think I had to pay anything. I don't remember having to pay a penny for that. I just went down there. I had an appointment. I gave them my information. It was a very hectic day for me. It is bad enough I go in there, and the first trip in there, I got some bitch at the front desk saying, we can't take this piece of mail because it does not verify that you live there. I said, bitch, that's my name and address. It's a piece of junk mail. It's not valid. What the fuck you mean it's not valid? I don't get bills in the mail. This is the only fucking thing I have. I could bring in a penny saver. I could bring in a fucking cigarette carton that I got in the mail. I don't fucking know. Jesus Christ. But that was a whole thing. That was my whole ordeal with that, with, the driver's license. Like, I don't know if every other state follows suit with something like that, but Maryland was one of the first, and they had a 2-year window to get everybody in there. And I was part of, I think, the first or second group that was called in. And they send you out these notices, they didn't do everybody all at once. They picked certain groups of people in the state of Maryland to do it. And they say, you got till November 1st to get it in. And then once everybody by November 1st got all their information in and all, and then from November 1st to another date, they would hit another group of people. So they had a 2-year window to get everything in there. And if they didn't, then good luck on those people, who, if they got pulled over or whatever, they're considered an unperson to the state of Maryland registry system, basically. It was ridiculous. I remember telling a bunch of people I worked with, and a bunch of people that used to come into work, and they were like, well, that's fucking bullshit. I was like, tell me about it. Maryland's fucked up. We got some fucked up legislations down here. Also, Maryland is one of the most expensive states to live in. Well, not most. New York and California is up there. Maryland's not too far behind, like our fucking gas right now is it's fluctuating between $3.49 and $3.89. But not for long then again. But yeah, that's the whole story with all that. It's all because of 9/11. They're trying to make things much more easier for people living in this country. That way we know who's an American citizen, or who has a green card, who doesn't have a green card, whose name is Allahu Akbar, whatever. But let's go on back to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Now, if you guys are familiar with the show, any website that I visit and I talk about here on the show, I copy and paste the link in our section on the Discord server under Tune In Live Scraps. This website is history.naval.mil. Now, for some of you guys that are listening to me over on the Jeff Hagee Show channel, I'm going to post it over there for you so you guys can check it out as well. If you're not in our server, you can go check it out. I put the Wilson in there. This is from the Naval History and Heritage Command. And this is a website that's for the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Got an introduction and everything. It talks about everything in detail, looks like. So let's start out with the introduction. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 19 terrorists from the Islamist extreme group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 commercial aircraft and crashed 2 of them into the north and south towers of the World Trade Center complex in New York City. Third plane crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. After learning about the other attacks, the passengers on the fourth hijacked plane, Flight 93, fought back, and the plane was crashed into an empty field in western Pennsylvania about 20 minutes by air from Washington, D.C. The Twin Towers ultimately collapsed due to the damage from impacts and subsequent fires. Nearly 3,000 people were killed from 93 different countries. Most of the fatalities were from the attacks on the World Trade Center. The Pentagon lost 184 civilians and service members, and 40 people were killed on Flight 93. This was the worst attack on American soil since the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941. But hold up! I'll be talking about this in a little bit. Hold the fuck up. Didn't that piece of donkey shit, Biden, come out 2 years ago and said, "Oh, the attack on our American soil at the Capitol, January 6th, it was much more horrendous than 9/11 or World War II combined. This was the worst." Like, when I heard that piece of elephant shit say that, I wanted to reach through my TV and strangle the fuck out of him till he was out of his breath. How dare this fucking old piece of fucking shit bastard sit there and tell the American people that January 6th, that was orchestrated by the Democrats, by the liberals, by Antifa, by these extremist terrorists in our country. How are you going to sit there and tell the American people who have suffered from the losses of their family and friends 22 years ago? How are you going to sit there and tell them that January 6th is a much more horrific event than 9/11? Because some of your buddies in the administration got attacked? Because they were cowering in the fucking room, waiting for people to come in and shoot them or beat the fuck out of them? They should have. If Pelosi and Joe Biden and all them fuckers from the Biden administration were sitting in there, in that room when they were trying to bust through, maybe they should have let them bust through and beat the fuck out of them. Maybe they should have. You're going to sit there and say that January 6th is more tragic than fucking 9/11. You are severely fucked in the head, Biden. You guys want to see some trippy shit about 9/11? Look up Dancing Israelis. Oh, Christ. Oh, I'll probably do that after the fucking show. But I'm serious with that. Like, how is this person that was rigged into the White House, cheated into the White House, given the title United States President? How's this person going to sit there and say that the events of January 6th are more horrific than hundreds of people who perished the morning of 9/11? And now he has the audacity to quote-unquote pay his respects this morning to those who've lost their lives? You are a fucking degenerate, ignorant, hypocritical piece of fucking dog shit. I would never wish ill will or death on the president, but let me tell you, if Biden contracted C-19, I have no sympathy for him. I'd be like, oh well, shit happens. 5 Israeli men were caught filming and celebrating attacks across the Hudson and had a van full of explosives. They were detained and sent back to Israel. Oh damn, that's what it is called. Did that happen around 9/11 or was that sometime after though? I can't remember if I ever heard of that. But yeah, let's go back to this article real quick. So after the Taliban refused to turn over their mastermind of the attack to Osama bin Laden, Operation Enduring Freedom began October 7th, 2001, with American and British bombing strikes against Al-Qaeda and Taliban forces in Afghanistan. Initially, the Taliban was removed from power and Al-Qaeda was seriously crippled, but Allied forces continually dealt with the stubborn Taliban insurgency, infrastructure rebuilding, and corruption among the Afghan National Army, Afghan National Police, and the Afghan Border Police, bin Laden would go into hiding for more than 10 years. Remember when they said he was in Afghanistan and shit? It was during the attacks themselves. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they were celebrating. Yeah, we bombed this place. We did this. We did that. That was okay. Sick, twisted fucks, man. I swear to God. But yeah, remember when they said that bin Laden, he was in hiding all over the Middle East? He was in Afghanistan, then he was in Kazakhstan and Iran and Iraq and all this. You know, he was hiding all over. You know, he was almost like Saddam Hussein, who had doubles of him and shit. You know, I think there was one instance where didn't he hide behind his wife or something? He cowardly hid behind his wife and they shot both of them or something. I can't remember how that story went. Somebody may remember that for me. On May 2nd, 2011, U.S. Navy SEALs launched a nighttime raid on bin Laden's compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. That's the other country I was thinking about, Pakistan. Abbottabad, killing the Al-Qaeda leader. Operation Enduring Freedom officially ended December 28th, 2014, although coalition forces remain on the ground to assist with training Afghan security forces. American troops departed Afghanistan in August 2021. Yeah, look at what happened then. Good old Biden pulls us out. Good old Biden. Oh, we don't need our forces over there anymore. We can pull out. We can pull out. How many people died in that incident? 13 soldiers died. Who's here with me? It's Cypher.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Not much.
So before I get into talking about what I was going to be talking about, what's your input on all this?
Honestly, I just kind of I try to read between the lines on a lot of the stuff that we see, because honestly, I mean, yeah, I understand what happened and all, but you also know that during the whole time, our country's good at trying to censor stuff, so
yeah,
I still think there's more to the story than what's going on. I mean, yeah, 9/11 still shouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
You know, but I don't think we got all the details, you know, because, you know, they claimed how they took over the planes and stuff like that, but it's like, from what it sounds like to me, they should have been suspicious of these people from way before it even happened.
Yeah.
You know, so it sounds like it could have been prevented ahead of time, but nobody did anything.
Yeah, because didn't they say that, I think weeks or months in advance, that the Bush administration did know, but they didn't really act on it until something happened?
Well, what it is the hijackers, they all took classes on how to fly planes and stuff over here.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
That's what I was saying with bin Laden. Like, you know, a lot of people didn't know about it until sometime after bin Laden received CIA training over here back in the 80s and 90s. I'm pretty sure a lot of them were funded for that, too.
That and bin Laden tried to bomb another place, I think in 1991?
I think I heard about that.
I think it was. I can't remember what it was. I think it was an embassy or something. I'm not sure.
Let's see.
But he did do some type of attack. And it was in the 1990s.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Let's see. Britannica. Okay, this is on bin Laden. Offenders say here. Also look up Building 7. It was the first and the last steel frame structure in history to uniformly collapse to office fires despite no plane hitting it that day. Yeah, everybody was talking about, like, when it comes to conspiracy theories with 9/11, they were talking about explosions being seen from the base of the building itself. Like, the planes hit the top of the building at a certain point, and They were trying to say that the heat from the fire up there spread through the infrastructure of the building, which, warmed up or heated up the metal framing and everything, and weakened it, and that's what caused the building to collapse. But then,
that's believable due to one fact.
Yeah.
The jet fuel. The jet fuel alone could have caused explosions down below.
That's true. It could have leaked down there. It could have,
because they said the jet fuel did spread through the buildings.
Yep.
And it's possible that it went in such a way that it ignited something that caused an explosion. I'm not saying that they couldn't have planted something to finish it off. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
jet fuel is a very volatile thing to mess with once it's ignited.
It is. Yeah, that's one thing I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't really take into account for. Like, okay, you got a plane that crashes into a building, something's going to happen to the plane. You're going to puncture the fuel line, the fuel tank in the plane. All that fuel is going to run down either the side of the building or inside the building. It's going to leak through, and that's what starts your fire.
But I believe people saw what they saw. Yeah, they probably saw explosions.
Yeah.
But it was probably due to the jet fuel itself igniting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not calling anybody a liar, but I can't blame them for thinking that, maybe they planted bombs in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they didn't. I'm not going to say they did, because I believe people saw what they saw that day.
Yeah. Yeah, because people, they have, like, right around then, that's when the whole thing, people were carrying cameras, and then cell phones had just become a fairly new thing. I mean, we didn't have no smartphones like we didn't have iPhones back then or Android, but people were able to take footage of what they saw, and then it was eyewitness accounts. Oh, let's see. So Bin Laden, founder of Al Qaeda, mastermind numerous terrorist attacks against the U.S. and other Western powers, including the 2000 suicide bombing of the U.S. warship Cole, September 11th attacks. Now let's see. Early life. Bin Laden was one of more than 50 children to Muhammad bin Laden. Jesus Christ! You imagine having 49 brothers and sisters? God damn!
And I'm pretty sure all of them disowned him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, that's like with people saying how Saddam Hussein had 100 doubles and shit. It's like, hey, he probably had 100 fucking brothers and sisters and shit.
But I do know he was behind another attempted bombing on state soil. I just can't remember when it was.
Yeah,
and what building it was.
Yeah, hopefully this will let me lead up to it here. Let's see. After immigrating to Saudi Arabia from Yemen, rose to direct major construction projects in Saudi royal family. By the time of Muhammad's death, is an airplane. Okay, his father died in 1967. His company had become one of the largest construction firms in the Middle East. Bin Laden family had developed a close relationship with the Saudi royal family. Let's see. Building Al Qaeda. Shortly after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 1979, Bin Laden, who viewed the invasion as an act of aggression against Islam, began traveling to meet Afghan resistance leaders and raise funds for the resistance. By 1984, his activities were centered mainly in Afghanistan and Pakistan, where he collaborated with Azam to recruit and organize Arab volunteers to fight the Soviet occupation. Bin Laden's financial resources, along with his reputation for piety and for bravery in combat, enhanced in a stature as a militant leader. A computer database he created in 1988 listing the names of volunteers for the Afghan war led to the formation that year of the new militant network named Al Qaeda. 1989, following the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan, Bin Laden returned to Saudi Arabia, where he initially was welcomed as a hero, but he soon came to be regarded by the government as a radical and potential threat. In 1990, the government denied his request for permission to use his network of fighters to defend Saudi Arabia against the threatened invasion posed by Saddam Hussein's Iraq. Bin Laden was outraged when Saudi Arabia relied instead on U.S. troops for protection during the Persian Gulf War, leading to the growing rift between Bin Laden and the country's leaders. In 1991, he left Saudi Arabia, settling in Sudan at the end of the year. In the early 90s, Bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda network began to formulate an agenda of violent struggle against the threat of U.S. dominance in the Muslim world. Bin Laden publicly praised other groups' attacks on Americans, including the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center in New York. In 1994, as Bin Laden expanded the group's infrastructure in Sudan and trained Islamic militants to participate in conflicts around the world, Saudi Arabia revoked his citizenship and froze his assets. I mean, it's possible it's probably what you were thinking of, maybe, and unless there's something
so it
else.
was 93.
Yeah, the bombing of the World Trade Center.
Yeah, so he already attacked the World Trade Center once.
Mm-hmm. And then,
So that's what baffles me.
yeah.
All right, I couldn't remember if it was the World Trade Center or not originally, but that means he already attacked it before this attack.
Yeah.
How did we fuck this up?
I have no idea. Like
That's my thing. Usually when something's attacked here, security tightens on it forever.
yeah.
You know, so we should have been able to tell something was up before those planes even took off.
Exactly. And of course, around 93, like, who was president at the time? Bill Clinton. You know, Clinton served, I think it was almost 2 terms, but he was impeached, you know, because of the whole Monica Lewinsky shit. I'm surprised he didn't attack under Clinton. But then again, Clintons have so much power, supposedly. You know, they probably paid them off or something. They could have been working with the Clintons. Who knows? And then Bush comes in. You know, Bush has...
Clinton's a sore topic for me due to the fact that when I graduated 5th grade, I got the top award in my elementary school, the Presidential Award.
Yeah.
It's signed by him.
Oh. Oh, damn.
You know, and the fact that he got impeached and shit like that, it's like, I'm not really that proud of that award.
Mm.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, wow. But yeah, then Bush comes in, and I think the whole narrative with Bush, with Bush invading the Middle East, and even though he was going after Bin Laden, and Bin Laden was like ducking and dodging from country to country to country,
Bush was actually after Saddam.
that's what it was.
He was trying to finish Daddy's work.
Yep, that's what my mom told me back then, you know, because of what he did with Daddy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Saddam was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But during that, Saddam was not our problem.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything to us, you know, like his own people, you know, they were wanting to hang his ass. He didn't do anything to us. It was Bin Laden's doing, but, you know, yeah, at the
If
time...
anything, I'm surprised we didn't ask for Saddam's help on getting Bin Laden.
I know.
Because apparently they weren't fond of one another either.
Yeah. Because I think, didn't at one time they tried to say that Bin Laden was hiding somewhere in Iraq and Iran? And
that was the excuse for looking for weapons of mass destruction and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then they caught Saddam, and then Saddam, you know, they turned him over to his own people, and they hung him publicly and all. It's like, well, we got Saddam. Like, okay.
But that's not who we were after.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck did he do? I mean, yeah, he was a dictator and all, but he didn't do shit to us. He didn't fucking fly them planes. He didn't commandeer them planes.
You know, and then you got Obama being the one who claims to have gotten Bin Laden,
Yeah.
but no, I believe it was the SEAL team that got him, not Obama.
Yeah, of course that motherfucker.
Obama did not pull the trigger.
Nope.
You know, it's just like, I don't say Bush got Saddam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's whoever physically caught him is who got him.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the person that caught Saddam was probably like, this is wrong. We're going after the wrong person, but we're giving direct orders. Go in there and get him. Gee, it was a one big fucking mess. I guess Bush must have figured, well, since we got our people over there, let's kill two birds with one stone. Let's look for this guy, but since we know where this guy's at over here, let's get him first. You know, let's cheer up old daddy. You know, Father's Day is coming up.
I'm not saying that Bush didn't do some good stuff, but that's pretty much any president.
Yeah,
Republican or Democrat, they do some good things. But a lot of the stuff they do ain't good.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, no offense to Bush, but, you know, I'm not going to follow a guy who cannot pronounce the word nuclear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
I know. See, that's like with Trump. Like, there's a lot of good that Trump has done. And even though the media does falsify a lot of that stuff and twist it and all. But
you know what Trump's biggest problem was?
Yeah.
Honest to God, and I know other Republicans that will agree with me on this. He needed to stay off the Twitter.
Yeah.
That's what really got him. Is he said some stuff on Twitter, and we went, "Ooh, I wouldn't have said that." You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's all it was.
That's what made him public enemy number one to everybody.
Yeah, because he was always too fiery at the mouth, you know. Like he luckily he got in 2016, but his mouth could have cost him the whole election, you know. Like I understand he's going, you know, he's targeting Clinton, you know, firing back, but when you're saying too much, when you're saying more than you should,
right,
it's going to cost you.
And that's one thing that bothers me so much in our country nowadays, you know, is you can't ever get both parties to work together. They're always fighting one another. This one kicks puppies. This one does this. You know, It's like they're always bad-mouthing one another instead of working together, which could have prevented a lot of stuff that happens in this country.
Yeah.
You know, it's always, you know, Republican versus Democrat, this, that, you know, and then you got the Green parties, the independents, and stuff like that don't even stand a chance.
Yeah.
You know, I got a good way to solve this.
Yeah.
Right? I got a good way to solve this for the elections. One set run as a Republican president and a Democratic vice president. The other one run as the Democratic president and the Republican vice president. That way, it's not a full party win for either side, and they're forced to work together.
Exactly. Because you know there's a lot of people out there that'll be like, why do we got a two-party system? Why do we got two-party? Well, I mean,
it's not even a two-party system.
Yeah.
They're just the majority. That's why, like, the Green Party, you know, what else? The Independent Party, the what's the other ones? God, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but that tells you how bad it is because I can't even remember all their names.
Well, I know there's like conservatives, you know, those of us who follow conservatively, you know, we follow in between, but I only thought there was maybe just like a Republican and, let's see, let me look that up here. Let's see, how many if I can spell it, parties are there in the U.S.? There are over 420 registered political parties in the United States of America with many different blends of political viewpoints. However, there are only two nationally recognized political parties, Republicans and Democrats.
Exactly.
Let's see. You got, god damn, it all follows like state by state too.
But it's like, I'm not going to lie, I'm sure people have figured it out that I'm registered Republican.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I vote Republican all the time.
Yeah.
I vote for whoever I feel is going to do the best job.
Exactly. Like, when I saw my card a couple years ago, and I was like, I don't remember registering for, I don't remember registering for Democrat, but I changed my swing to Republican, but, like I stated, and I've been seeing some Democrats come out lately, like Robert Kennedy. You know, he's been stating a lot of good. You know, he's been talking about, you know, how Biden is not doing this and doing that. You know, he agrees, and he says, if I get into office, trust and believe. You know, you're not going to see any of that out of me. And I'm like, you know what? Whether Trump gets it, DeSantis or one of the other, Republicans get it. If no Republican gets it, if Robert Kennedy gets in there, I'll vote for Robert Kennedy. Anything other than fucking Biden. If Kennedy can do something good, I'll vote Democrat for him.
But, it's like I'm trying to explain. Yes, I'm registered Republican, right?
Yeah.
I'm more independent than anything.
Yeah.
All right, because I'll call out any side.
Yeah, because
for the bullshit that they pull.
Exactly. Republicans, they do have their own shitty end too. Like, look at
but it's just like, if Trump does run again, will I vote for him? I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Because I see the good in him, but I also remember what he did, and what's going to stop him from doing it again?
Yeah, true.
Just like, what? If he can't stay off social media, we're going to have problems.
Yeah, because that's where the fire comes in. It's like when you post something on a public forum like that, it's forever. You could delete it off of there. There's always footnotes left behind that okay, Elon Musk can say, okay, Trump said this about 5 months ago about Tesla, or said this about Biden or Clinton. There's always footnotes. Not only that, with today's technology, people screenshot that shit. People record it somehow. So there's always some kind of evidence out there that somebody's going to provide, like Joe Schmo, or let's say, oh Christ, let's just say, and I'm pretty sure he's here with us today. Are you here?
Stop the hate spread.
There he is.
Oh God.
Even him, he would come out and say, I got information on the Trump and stuff.
United together, we take a huge shit.
I'm sure we do.
But I mean, I'm not trying to get off topic of 9/11 because I believe this feeds into it.
Yeah.
Because what I'm getting at is, all right, Trump gets on social media, right? And I'm not saying Trump was a bad president. I'm not saying he was a good president. They all have their flaws.
Yeah.
All right. But the problem is, with social media, you can piss off other countries easier and quicker through social media.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which could cause more problems. So who I would vote for is, I asked the question, since 9/11, what would you do to protect this country?
Mm-hmm.
And whoever I feel is, better suited for protecting the country, that's who I'm going to vote for.
Yeah, just like with Trump's wall down in Mexico. Everybody called him racist because they're like, oh, he's keeping out all the immigrants from Mexico. It's like, that's not the point. The point is, you got all these terrorists that use that point of entry as a way of gaining access into the country. They're not going to come over now on airplanes. They're going to look down there in Mexico and say, okay, there's a wall. There's ways of getting into the country. You got the cartel. You got all these drug dealers, mass murderers and stuff. That's why Trump wanted the wall up. That's what,
you see, and a lot of people have fought with me on this, right? When I mention it, right? And it's only until after I explain my side that they finally go, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. And what I'm getting at is, a lot of people think Republicans, they want the wall because we don't want foreigners in our country. That's not it.
No.
We don't mind them being in the country, but we want them to come through a legal process.
Yep.
They can't just jump over and just do whatever they want, because that tells us how unsecure it is.
Yeah, and that's what this country is all about.
The idea of the wall was not to keep people out. It was to keep terrorists out and let people funnel in legally.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they come in legally, there's paperwork, which means there's a paper trail telling you where this person came from, where they're going. The government has an idea who these people are.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they come in illegal, and I do feel sorry for some illegals. I've worked with some that worked to get a green card and stuff. And I've heard horror stories about some of the stuff that they had to go through, and I feel for them. I really do. But at the same time, though, you've got to follow a process.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look at what's going on in New York right now. You got hundreds of migrants that just flooded in out of nowhere. All because, of Biden and Kamala, they think, oh, bring them all in. Everybody come in. Where are we going to put them at? Right now in New York, they're putting them up in expensive motels that the New York residents, their tax dollars are paying for. You know, it's like, yeah, a lot of these immigrants, you know, not only have they not been through the process of being checked in and made a U.S. citizen, but now any of them that do have children in the United States will automatically be considered a U.S. citizen. But how many of those immigrants are from a terrorist network? How many of them are cartel? How many of them are Al-Qaeda in disguise?
Do you know what this country would have done to families years ago if their child was born over here?
What's that?
The country would keep the child and kick the parents out.
Yep. I think that's what
And
they do.
nobody, and back then, nobody would have batted an eye at it.
No. Exactly.
But now all of a sudden that everybody's trying to appease everybody, we've now got this whole society that gets offended so easily over the dumbest things.
Yeah, tell me about it. This country there's
a lot of stuff that happens in this country that offends me, but do you see me whining and bitching about it? No.
No, not.
Because guess what? Part of the American dream is you can offend me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's your right.
Yeah.
That is your right to offend me. Which means I know I can't do anything about it. So I just brush it off and go on with my everyday life.
Exactly. It's like, you know, we are protected by the Constitution, which is like, you know, the government's trying to shit on the Constitution right now with a bunch of things. Like, there has been so much red tape and bullshit with the last 22 years ever since this incident happened, you know, and right now our nation is divided more than it ever has been.
But here's another problem. You know, the main reason why we don't have more terrorist attacks and people try to invade us, do you really know why? It's because of the Second Amendment. We're allowed to hold firearms. We're allowed to own them.
Yep.
They know if they attack us, there's a good chance the civilians are going to shoot them before the military gets a chance to.
Yep, and that's what a lot of these politicians are trying to do.
But yet our country tries to take that right away from us.
Yep. And
every year they try to take it away from us. You have children being shot. Yeah. Yes, I understand that. But one thing you're going to learn is most of the time, the gun that's used isn't the person's gun. They either stole it somehow, got it off the streets, right?
Exactly.
Or somehow fell through the cracks because the gun laws that we have now aren't being enforced.
They're not.
You know, so now you got people, you know, that say, oh, we're going to confiscate your guns. Watch what happens when that happens. This country will become even more dangerous then because we won't be able to defend ourselves. But also, say something like China decided to attack us, which has a bigger army than we have.
Yeah.
All right. What, you're going to come knock on my door and try to put a gun in my hand so I can fight for you after you done took it? I don't think so.
Oh, no.
You know what's going to happen if China attacks us for some reason? If that happens, we all going to be talking Chinese.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things going to happen.
Because none of us will be willing to fight for them at that point.
Oh, no.
You know, but, you know, gun rights are just one thing. It's part of it. But that it helps, you know, why fight the gun laws more and stuff after 9/11 happened? Well, from what I understand, some of the planes were taken over with razor blades.
Yeah.
You didn't outlaw them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in all actuality, people are going to kill people, unfortunately. It's just something that happens. It's a shame that I got to say that. But you take the gun away from somebody, there's the bow and arrow. You take that away, you got knives.
Yep.
Take them away, you got rocks. You know what I mean? You take anything away from them, you're still going to have people dead. It's
a domino effect. Yeah, there's always something. That's like that's what we said before in other episodes. It's like, you know, they talk about DUIs and car crashes kill more people in the country than supposed cancer. It's like, okay, well, are you going to prevent people from driving a vehicle? Are you going to prevent, or are you going to charge the person with drinking alcohol?
I can understand how stuff got taken over with like razor blades and sharp objects because a lot of people are afraid to die.
Yeah.
Right? But I look at it, at my point of view, if some motherfucker's threatening me with a blade, I'm going to fucking kill some bitch with my bare hands.
Yeah.
And I know I'm capable of doing it.
And what a lot of people of this new generation now, they don't understand is they're so pussified right now. They're like, I'm trans, I want to wear a dress. But then when something like that arises, when you got somebody that comes up to one of them and says, I'm going to gut you like a fish. Oh no, I'm going to call the police. You know, in the matter of time that you dial 911 on your phone, you're standing there like the fucking idiot you are. And, hello, police? I got somebody who's going to gut me like a fish. You're already dead.
Now, somebody came up to me and said, I'm going to gut you like a fish. About 10 seconds after that, whatever weapon they have would be shoved up their ass.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be unconscious on the ground, possibly bleeding to death.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people today, they don't know how to defend themselves. They don't know that they have the right to defend themselves because they, you know.
I'm trained in defending myself.
Exactly.
Not only was I trained in martial arts, but you also got to think, I went through a program with the Millersville Police Department. They used to have something called the Explorers Program.
I think I heard of that.
All right. And I was with them with that, and, you know, I learned how to use one of their nightsticks and stuff like that, and, you know, so it's like, I know how to do that stuff. Then I was also trained in self-defense by my uncle, a different type of self-defense from martial arts, where, you know, martial arts is, oh, you want to just try to protect yourself and get out of the fight, where the training my uncle gave me was, I'm going to put you out of the fight permanently.
Yeah.
Big difference, because I'm handicapped. But what people fail to realize with handicapped people is, you corner us, we will come at you like a wild animal.
Yeah.
At that point. And it's not, oh, we're going to play with you. It's, no, I'm going to break something on you. And it's either going to be your arm, your leg, or if you're unlucky, your neck.
Yeah. Yeah, they look.
And I tend to aim for the throat when I punch. So take a good guess what's going to happen.
Oh, they're dead. they're
dead.
Yeah.
All right. And it's been measured with me that I hit as hard as a heavyweight boxer.
Yeah.
So if I punch you in the throat with all my might, what's going to happen?
Oh, they're done. They're crushed.
But what will happen to me? I'll go to jail.
Yeah, I know. For
defending yourself. Equal or lesser force. I'm handicapped. Fuck equal or lesser force.
Yeah. It's like whatever
you
happened.
Come after me, I'm going to assume you're trying to end me. I'm going to end you.
Yeah. Because it's like...
Which is also why, when it comes to terrorists, if I ended up in a group that was surrounded by terrorists, at least one of those terrorists is going to be dead because of me.
Yeah.
Okay? Put it that way.
And it's like with today's society, it's like whatever happened to the ability to defend yourself? You know, the police tell you, don't use a firearm, don't do this, don't do that. You know, just call us, get to a safe place and call us. They're like, well, if you got somebody that's dead on ending your life, you know, there is no safe place.
But let me put it this way. All right? 9/11 was also the first time in years where we didn't look at each other at, you're black, you're white, you're brown, you're, you know, whatever color, you know.
Exactly.
You know, you're African American, you're Mexican, Latino, you're Asian. No, that day, everybody in this country was a fucking American.
Yep.
All right? And I got news about these terrorists and stuff. I don't know if people listen to you from the LBG community, you know, the trans part of the community, whatever. Look, terrorists don't care if you're straight, bi, gay, trans. They don't care if you wear a dress. They don't care what you do. The fact is, if you live in this country, they see you as an American. They see you as evil. in their eyes. They will treat you just like they treat everyone else.
Exactly.
So even though you whine and stuff, and yes, we call you sissies a lot of times because, it's your emotions. You get offended. The First Amendment, all right, is freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
You say stuff that offends me all the time. Because since when did I have to be called, what is it, a straight man? What, I'm a cis male? Is that what it is?
That's what they try to call it, yeah. Cisgender.
Where growing up I was just called a boy.
Yeah.
We're a man, not this cis stuff. All right? I get offended by that.
Yeah.
But do I call you out on it? No.
No.
All right? So guess what? If we call you dude because you're a guy, right? Even though your pronouns are female, all right? There's no reason to get offended because we don't know.
Exactly.
Know what I mean? We don't know what the fuck you want us to do. Become fucking psychic?
Yeah, because everybody's following this new trend nowadays where
I have nothing against trans people. You know this.
Same here. Like
I have nothing against anybody. I'm more of a live and let live type of person. If it doesn't affect me, I don't really care.
Yeah, that's why.
As long as you're happy, hey, do you?
Yeah.
But when you get offended all because we don't know, I mean, you could just say after we said that, go, hey, I know you didn't know, but I identify as this, right? And you're nice about it. We'll actually conform to you.
Mm-hmm.
Most people will conform to you as long as you're nice to us about it.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the only reason you get hate from us is because you go, I identify as this, and you're like nasty about it.
Yeah.
Which then pushes our asshole button.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, if you're going to be a dick towards me, I'm going to be a dick back.
That's why, like, we've said on here before, it's not about anybody being transsexual or whatever. That's your all's opinion. That's what you want to do. We go after the agenda, which is the LBGT. And I know a lot of people look at it as like, well, they got us, like we feel more united. And I was like, well, there's a lot of gay people in the gay community that look at it as like, well, you're kind of stereotyping us. You're making us look like we're bad people because of an agenda that they're trying to pass with it. Like, I just found a picture this morning. I shared it on Facebook, and of course it got flagged, because Facebook is, big bitches on internet. But I found this picture.
Oh, the government's got them in their back pocket.
Oh yeah, like they just passed what was it, trans acceptance month or something like that in one of the states. I'm like, and I looked at this picture and I say it's a group of people holding a flag that says, "Hate trans people, kill yourself." But yet, so you all ain't violent? You don't? Yeah.
Here's another thing that baffles me.
Uh-huh.
Did you know it's perfectly okay to burn the American flag with no consequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you burn a rainbow flag, that's considered a hate crime?
Yeah.
How does that make any fucking sense?
It doesn't. It's like, I have nothing against them. That rainbow flag, I look at it as like, it's not a symbol of pride. It's not a symbol of freedom. Gay people have always had their freedom. It's just we have...
I mean, I get they use it as their symbol, but you don't own the rainbow.
No, they don't.
All right? And you got a lot of people to assume that you're gay if you like rainbows. I like rainbows.
Who doesn't? When it rains, when there's a fucking rainstorm and you look in the sky.
It's one of the coolest things to see.
It is. It doesn't mean...
Especially if you ever see a double rainbow. Those are the coolest things to see in the sky.
What do you want me to say? That was a gay rainstorm? That storm was so gay, there's a rainbow in the sky? Like, how stupid do you think?
And the only reason I'm bringing this stuff up is I'm trying to teach.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing it up as to bring hate. I want people that listen to this to learn something.
Exactly.
That we can't you can't just assume that we are all going to cater to you and we know what you want, because our world does not revolve around you. Sorry, we all have our own lives.
Exactly.
So we don't know what you want.
It's like we don't view you guys as being the most important thing on the platter. I don't view myself as the most important thing. I know I could be a piece of shit at times myself. You know,
half the time my life doesn't even circle around me, and it's my life.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Like when I tell people I hate the LGBT, I don't support them. I'm not saying I don't support gays. I support people who are gay. You know, that's their way of life. You know, that's their right. I look at the LGBT as a political agenda used to fuel hate between people, used to divide people.
Let me put it this way. What Arrow's saying is he's not against the people that belong to the LGBTQ. It's the LGBTQ group that we have the issue with.
Yes.
Not the people that it was for. It's the group's agenda, not the individuals in it that we have a problem with.
Yeah, and a lot of those people in that group, they're brainwashed by the government. They're brainwashed by politics, by the media. They're brainwashed to the point where it becomes a division of people.
But so, I mean, it almost seems like they brainwash you to the point to where you won't even trust a straight person.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and to be honest, we don't even know if you're gay or not unless you tell us.
Yeah. Just like, what was it? It was like 4 or 5 years ago when that nightclub in Florida got shot up. Wasn't it like a gay nightclub, I think?
In Florida? Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see anybody saying, oh, those queers deserved it. You don't see anybody saying that shit. You see,
but here's how much people don't seem to know. It's like, even my wife, before she was my wife, when we moved into an apartment, we were going to pick up a new roommate that was a friend of hers, right?
Uh-huh.
She didn't want to tell me that he was gay until we were almost there to pick him up. Because she didn't know how I was going to take it.
Wow.
You know, because of the type of person I am. I can be a downright prick at times, but when I'm a prick, it's deserved.
Yeah.
All right? But the thing is, she did that, right? And I looked at her, why would you, keep that from me? You know? And she's like, I wasn't sure you were going to react. And I looked at her and went, here's my reaction. So what?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's like
we picked him up, and then immediately after that, right, we went out, we picked up some steamed crabs and stuff, and made it like his first greatest day at the apartment.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't do that because he was gay. I did that because it was a friend of hers, you know what I mean? Which meant I was going to try to become friends with him too.
Yeah.
You know, because I try to be friends with people that are friends of hers. You know, it's just something I do. I don't care about any of that.
Exactly.
You know, yes, I make gay jokes. Yeah, some of them might sound kind of cruel, but that's only if you don't see the context to it.
Yeah, that's like
I've made gay jokes in front of him, and he knew I was messing with him. That was the thing.
And I like that. That's like with.
But the best joke I ever got him with was in front of my father, and I'm going to say it here.
Yeah.
All right. I looked at him, all right, because he kept doing stuff, all right, and this was because he was trying to get approval from his mother, who was like super Christian, you know, didn't know he was gay.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to explain to him, if his mother can't accept him for that, then she's not his mother.
Nope.
You know, your family are the people that accept you, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. So he kept trying to do that, right? And my father knew he was gay too, right? So right in front of my father, because he just started to annoy me with this, right? And I just looked at him and I went, dude, there's a lot of things you'll do in life, and ain't nobody going to remember them, right? But I said, but you suck one cock, just one cock, you're a cocksucker for life.
Yep.
That's exactly what I said. My dad fell over laughing. His jaw fell open, like in shock, but it was kind of like a humorous shock. Like he couldn't believe I got him with it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, everything was fine. But he knew I was only messing with him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's like with my ex. She had this cousin. I forgot what I think. His name was Valentine, and I knew he was gay. I had nothing against it. And there was one night, him and his partner ended up beating him up and left him stranded out somewhere. It was somewhere before Upper Marlboro, and we were going out there at 11 o'clock at night to pick him up. We picked him up. We brought him back to the house. You know, he stayed with us for a night. You know, we sheltered him, and we stayed up that night till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, just bullshit. And then let me tell you, he was one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever got to talk to. I love talking to this guy. You know, like despite what had recently happened to him, and we're trying to lighten his spirits. You know, he was cracking jokes, and everybody was having a good time. You know. And you know, I was glad to be part of that family. Be like, hey, you know, this guy's pretty cool. You know, I've seen him another time or two and all. We crack jokes, we laugh and all that shit. But you know, he was a good guy. You know, there's a lot of people out there, whether you're gay or not. Like, if you enjoy their company, if you feel comfortable in their presence, and they're a good person and all, like, why have some kind of feeling of dread of being around that person? You know, like, they're gay, so what? You know, just interacting with them.
But I mean, it's just also there was an incident with one of his boyfriends, right?
Yeah.
Who did a certain type of abuse to him. I'm not gonna say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as he told me about it, I went after that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I believe it.
You know, I went after people like that. You know, I've bumped into other people that have asked me for help that were from the same community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have no problems with that. Hell, there was one that came up to me one day and called me beautiful and said I had beautiful eyes, right? And I didn't even skip a beat because my wife's there with me, right?
Yeah.
The person knows my wife, right? And I just grabbed my shirt and I went, "You hear that, hun? I'm beautiful." And they all just busted out laughing. You know what I mean?
See, I'm like you. Like, if I had a situation like that and they said the same thing, I'd be like, "Ooh, goddamn, you made my ripples rigid."
You know, but I've done that before where people have said stuff to me, and I'll look at my wife and go, "Hun, see, piss me off. I got options."
Yeah.
You know, but I know it's slightly off topic, but it's also not off topic because it's linked to everything we're talking about.
Exactly. Like, you know, when you...
You know, because the terrorist will attack you just because, you know, you're not straight.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. If you're over in their countries, it's like a crime.
Yeah. And terrorists,
you know?
And terrorists usually hit you when you're at your weakest point. Like right now, we're a divided nation. So we're very prone to a terrorist attack. And it's not going to be from the Middle East. It could be from Russia. It could be from China. It could be from North Korea.
I'm not going to lie. I have a feeling the attack's going to be from within our country.
Yeah. And it's already happening, you know, because we already got this stuff piling in here. And 22 years ago, like you said, this grave incident happened on our soil, and we all come together as one. Whether we were black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, Japanese, dirty knee, look at these, you know. We
didn't even care what political party you were from at that point. You were equal.
Yeah, we were all united.
At that point, we did not care what your beliefs were back then.
Yeah.
You know? Just like now, you shouldn't care what people's beliefs are. You know, I've watched my wife lose friends because of relatives of her posting stuff and her liking the photo. All right, and here's what happened. All right, I'll even tell you, my wife's a Democrat.
Yeah.
All right? She liked the photo that her half-brother posted where she thought the cup said literal tears.
Yeah.
It said liberal tears. All right? She didn't read it properly before liking it.
Yeah.
All right? And it's honest to God what happened. All of a sudden, she gets this nasty message from a friend of hers from college
Oh, wow.
about how horrible a person she is, this and that, and then he blocked her.
Wow.
You know, and it's like all because of something that dumb. She read it as literal tears.
Yeah.
All right?
That's like 3 years ago when the whole George Floyd thing hit, and I posted my opinions about that on Facebook. I had this friend from 6th grade that I was friends with on Facebook. You know, he goes sit there and tell me, you know, his one iota, and then he's going to, like, sit there and threaten my life and shit. I'm like, so you're going to sit there and threaten to do what to me, all because of my opinion about this situation? I'm like, then shit, you weren't much of a friend to begin with then. Like, shit, you can go fuck yourself. And I blocked him.
I've had people try to take my life before.
Yeah.
On multiple occasions. And one thing they learned real quick is, even though I didn't kill them, I had them in the position where I could kill them, which means I can do it better.
Yeah.
And I made that clear to them. And then suddenly they became friends with me again after that, after they realized how asinine the thing was.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And my thing is, the whole George Floyd thing shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have.
Honestly, what the cop did was extremely fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And even me and my family agreed, if we were there and saw the cop doing that, we would have tackled the cop.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I said.
We would have tackled that motherfucker. Yes, we would have. We would have tackled him, beat the fuck out of him.
Because like I said before, like Floyd, he would have probably been dead regardless because he had drugs in the system.
I mean, Floyd's no saint.
No.
But also, what the cop did was completely wrong.
Exactly, because as far as I know, when it comes to
Not
that,
when somebody says they can't breathe, you back the fuck off.
Yeah, because he was panicking, and he kept telling him, "I can't breathe." And this was before Chauvin had him on the ground. You know, he was saying he can't breathe, like he had heart problems. That's when the cops should have stopped, called for a paramedic, and they should have looked into it.
They should have stopped, sat him down, called a paramedic, you know, and had him examined before anything else happened.
Exactly. That's what should have happened, but they were so dead beat on getting him arrested, and then
the fact that that damn cop kneeled on his neck.
Exactly, because as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't their tactic with that the knee's supposed to be on their back with certain amount of pressure? Yes.
Yes, it's supposed to be on your back with a certain amount of pressure. It's just like if they were to take me down, right, and I tell them, don't hurt me, you know, I have a back injury. Yeah, they would still put their knee on me, but it would just be higher up on my back.
Yeah, it never hits your neck. It's never supposed to be on your neck.
Right. You know, but they're supposed to, you know, if you have an injury or something, you explain that to them, you know, like if they go to put that down, they're supposed to cater to it to a certain extent to where they know they're not hurting you, but they know that you can't get back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that whole situation, it could have been avoided if they had just followed through, but they turned it into something bigger, and it just escalated beyond point. Like, okay, we understand.
And I do feel bad for one of the officers, though, because one of the officers told him to stop.
Yeah.
One of the other officers told the other officer to stop, and I feel bad for him because of the whole situation. But in all honesty, if the cop telling him to stop should have put an end to it.
Exactly.
What's that other cop going to do to him? He's another cop.
Yeah, and everything's recorded on body cam, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that cop, in a way, I feel bad for him, but also at the same time, it's like you didn't do enough to stop it.
He didn't. It's like, what are you going to do? Get fired? Get reported? It's like, so what? Like, you could have saved a life that day, but instead, you know...
It would have been the one kneeling down on him that would have got fired.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, the other one probably would have got suspended, you know, but he wouldn't have been fired.
Yeah.
No, but the other two probably would have been terminated. because there was one doing absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the one that's actually doing the action, and then you got the one that's telling them to stop doing it.
Exactly.
So I feel bad for that guy, but at the same time, I don't blame him for what happened, because he couldn't have known that he was going to kill him.
Yeah, nobody knew. Nobody knew what his actions were that day.
The only one that knew was going to kill him was the cop that was kneeling down on his neck.
Yeah.
That cop was purposely trying to kill him. You can't tell me otherwise.
Exactly. That was a big, disgusting situation that day, and that's
it was.
And that's the kind of shit it's dividing the country right now. It's a lot of that's going on. Like a lot of people.
And a lot of people aren't looking into it this way, Arrow. A lot of people are just trying to see the black and white, the good and bad. Yep. Nobody sees that gray area like I do. And that's why I tell you I'm probably the realest reverend you're ever going to meet.
Yeah.
It's because I see the black and white, but I see all the shades of gray in the middle, too.
Exactly. And that's what the media is painting the picture nowadays, to sidetrack us, to distract us from a lot of things that are happening, and we're going to definitely get into that here in a little bit too.
But with the whole George Floyd thing, are the cops at fault? Yes, each one is at fault to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Is Floyd himself at fault? Yes, because he had the drugs in his system and stuff. But is it his fault he died? No. It is not Floyd's fault that he died, and I think that's what most people are hung up on.
Yep.
It's not his fault that he died. Did he deserve that? No. I don't know his full story, Yeah, he could have had drugs in his system because he was in pain. Who knows?
Yeah, because all we know from that day was the convenience store he went to. He apparently passed off or tried to pay for a product with a counterfeit bill, which the store owner called the police, of course.
Which, by the way, let me just interrupt for a second there. For a lot of people that think, that might be bullshit, no, there are counterfeit bills floating around. I have actually come across one myself at one point.
Yeah.
And they look so close to the real thing. It is such an easy mistake for somebody to do. So do I think Floyd did it on purpose?
Possibly not, no.
No, I don't think he did it on purpose because there's counterfeit bills out there and they haven't figured out a way to stop it.
No, they're still circulating out there, and just like, he waited around.
I tried paying for something one day and the clerk told me it's counterfeit. I went, oh shit. I told him, I'll stay here and here. Will you call the cops and let them know that we came across the counterfeit bill? That way the cops would come in. I didn't try to run or anything,
Yeah.
So when the cops got there, we showed them the bill, and I said, yeah, this I actually got out of a ATM, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the bill, and they actually thanked me for being honest.
Yeah.
But did I still buy stuff from the guy? Yeah, I had another 20 that was a real one.
Exactly, yeah.
And I told him, this one's real, right? I even had them all check it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's that simple for something like that to happen. And, you think you get caught with a counterfeit bill, you think you're in trouble. If you didn't even know it was counterfeit in the first place, as long as you go, I didn't know this was counterfeit, and you actually do the right thing with it, usually you're okay.
Yeah.
But I'll admit, there are some crooked-ass cops out there, too.
Exactly. Like, that whole day, like, Floyd could have ran, and I've always made the narrative, it's like, why didn't Floyd drive away after all that? But, yeah, but when everything is pieced together, yeah, Floyd stood by. He waited across the street with, whether his family or his friends in that SUV. The cops showed up. Things took place. And it was said that, well, I don't remember if it was said on spot, but they said he had fentanyl in his system. But, they were all telling him, his heart is palpitating. He was having rapid heartbeat and all.
But there could be reasons why he had that in his system. He might not even know he might not even known it was in his system.
Yeah, that's true too. And
because there is, let me explain. There is a huge fentanyl problem in the Baltimore area.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, a huge one. And you got people spiking stuff with it.
Yep.
You know, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm not trying to say that he was innocent because, yes, I know he had a criminal record. But all because somebody has a criminal record doesn't mean they're a bad person.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a lot of people that would do bad things for a good reason, and then you got a lot of people that do good things for the completely wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying there's always that gray area.
Yeah.
I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that's like with when you look at our prison system, it's like how many people are in there on charges of possession of marijuana. Like, marijuana is not as severe as a child molester or a woman beater or somebody who stabbed a cop 20 times or something like that, you know, but they put people in there for like, what, 3 or 4 months just because they're in possession of marijuana, you know?
You know, but it's like the cops would try to crack down on people taking methadone, right? That got it from a methadone clinic.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to understand when it comes to meth, people can't just stop it.
No.
If you just stop it, it could kill you.
Yeah, because meth is used as a substitute to get somebody off another drug.
But you get what I'm saying? Though meth can... If you go from withdrawal from meth, you could die going through that withdrawal.
Exactly. That's like people who are severe alcoholics. And I've known a couple of them that can't live without alcohol because that's their bloodstream. That's in their blood. You have to have, on a daily basis, a certain amount of alcohol just to keep your body going. If not, you're going to go into shock and you could end up dying, too.
Well, it's like after one of my cousins died, she died from the H1N1 virus.
Yeah.
All right. It was after she died that my family also explained to me that, you know, she used to have to go to a methadone clinic. I didn't know she had a drug problem. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
You know? But that's how it was explained to me that, you know, eventually you're hoping throughout your life that you can eventually get off the methadone. You know,
exactly.
Taking little and little of it, you know, to wean off of it.
Exactly.
You know, but, you know, I was amazed that that wasn't what killed her, you know, but it was explained to me that a lot of people that are on methadone, it's because if they don't have it and they go through withdrawal, the withdrawal symptoms are strong enough to kill a lot of them.
It is. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to that kind of, those kind of drugs, yeah.
But that's why I don't judge people that are on methadone. If I know that they're on methadone because they had a meth problem, all right, I'm not going to judge them for something that because I don't know what drove them to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
What type of person would I be, you know, if I judged people for their past?
Yeah.
You know, which is the problem with social media. It used to be you were told, learn from your past, leave it in your past.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Twitter, oh, we're going to dig up stuff from your past. It's irrelevant, but we're going to use it to cancel you anyway.
Yeah, look at, like, James Gunn. Like, they were going after James Gunn because of something he said, like, what, 6-7 years ago on there?
And then they wonder why terrorists attack us.
Yeah.
Part of it is, I think, the terrorists come after us because they think we're stupid because of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Another part of it is, I think some of them think that they can brainwash us to their ways.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't have anything against Muslims or any of them. I don't have anything against people in Iraq or any of those places. All right? Because I understand where a lot of stuff comes from. A lot of the terrorists are misunderstanding their version of the Bible.
Yeah.
Is honestly what it is. You know? I forget what is it? The Quran? Is that what they call it?
Quran, yeah, that's what they follow, yeah.
Yeah, they view the Quran a different way from most Muslim people. Most Muslim people are actually very peaceful.
Yeah.
But the terrorists are the ones that have that warped sense.
Mm-hmm.
That we're the white devil, this and that.
Yeah, and of course, circling us right back around to 9/11. Yeah, like remember back when that all happened, and everybody was looking at anybody who was Muslim or Middle Eastern differently. They saw everybody as terrorists because of who attacked us. That was a big issue then too, because how many of our friends and family, like that were from Afghanistan or Israeli or Muslim, they were going to school, they were getting picked on and bullied because we were attacked by your kind, your people, but they have no association with them. They're not related to Bin Laden.
My thing is, though, it's like a lot of them see it as their duty that they have to wipe us out, even though a majority of us don't even want to go over there.
Yeah.
So they make the mistake of poking the bear.
Yeah.
You don't want the bear to attack, you don't poke the bear.
And that's exactly what happened. They poked the bear and we went over. But
you saw how fast the Taliban took back over, right?
Yeah.
As soon as we pulled out.
Yep.
That tells you how much they really want democracy over there.
Yeah, because it's like...
Because if the citizens really wanted democracy over there, when the Taliban pushed back in, they would have fought back.
Yeah.
Not a single person fought back.
Yeah, because we had, 13 people who died trying to get out of there. But then, when we pulled out, and even though Trump was going to pull us out eventually, he had it set to where...
he wasn't going to pull us out like Biden did.
Yeah. It was going to be step by step. He wanted to make sure that the people over there, they were safe, they were good, that they were well trained for any kind of situation or takeover or whatever. We were going to do it gradually, but then Biden pulls us out, in one swoop.
In one swoop, which caused casualties.
It did. It caused casualties, and we left millions.
I'm not saying the Taliban wasn't going to take them over again, but the difference is the Taliban probably would have been able to do it without casualties at that point.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've left millions of dollars of equipment over there, military equipment, guns,
I know,
tanks, vehicles.
Which now the Taliban has.
Yeah. So now, if we go back over there, if there's ever another war that that involves the Taliban against us, it's like, where are they getting their equipment from? Duh! We left it over there. Biden said, here you go.
Well, hopefully, due to the fact that we haven't really been doing anything with them, hopefully the Taliban has kind of learned to just leave us alone.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Because if they leave us alone, we'll leave them alone.
Yeah, because at this point, I look at it, okay, yeah, we have a retard who's got the title president. He left you some toys. Okay, consider that a gift. Leave us alone. We won't bother you. You want to go after Sudan or you want to go after Egypt or whatever, that's your all's business. Leave us the fuck out of it. We're already killing ourselves in the country right now. It's like...
And here's our huge problem, too. I'm sorry I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, you're all right.
But here's our biggest problem. We were raised to go, America's number one. America's number one. We haven't been number one in years.
No, we haven't. Exactly.
We're not the greatest place on earth to live anymore. The American dream has been corrupted.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Yeah, America's still great, but it's not as great as it used to be.
It's not. We've fallen way behind,
How can we pretend that we're so patriotic and stuff, but yet you have your own people burning flags, wanting communism?
Mm-hmm. We got all these...
By the way, the way they got those flags was capitalism. Mm-hmm. Just so the communists know that, you keep feeding the capitalist machine anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? But you got people doing that, which, yeah... Although I could have sworn it used to be a crime to burn a flag in, defiance.
Yeah.
in this country. I could have sworn it used to be. But you got people burning the flags, shit like that. Then you got people thinking that the gays are coming for their children.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what's really going on, but it's going on the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yes, children should know that there are gay people. They should know what trans people are because we are in an evolving time. But the thing is, they're not teaching it at the right age.
They're not. Yeah, it's too
teaching
young.
it. Let the kids be kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, once they're in 5th grade, 6th grade, then yeah, sure. Then you can start teaching them the stuff.
Yeah.
All right? Because at that point, they're getting ready to go into middle school or in middle school. Their body's going to be changing then.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean you tell them, oh, don't tell your parents that you want to transition. Don't try to force transitioning on somebody who doesn't know if they want to or not.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Don't make people feel like they have to transition because they don't know if they're straight or gay yet. Their hormones haven't hit yet.
Exactly. They don't know.
Just teach them that these people do exist, and as they get older, they will figure out what they are.
Yeah. Just like right now, and I've talked about the movie Sound of Freedom in the past, but when you got the narrative sitting there saying, okay, trans people and gay people are coming after your children, there's really only one group of people that's going after children. It has nothing to do with gay people, it has nothing to do with transgender, transsexual, whatever. You got people that are abducting children in various ways, and they're selling them off to trafficking, child trafficking.
I know. And then another point that I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for it, but I really don't care at this point. The whole thing with there's not just two genders thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this and say, yes, there are. There is male and female, because when you transition, you're either being transitioned into a male or a female.
Yep.
No offense, but I do not see one that transitions you into a dog, a cat, a dragon, a toaster, anything like that. They're not genders.
No, they're not.
A cat, a dog, a dragon, they're species of animal. So I don't understand the whole gender fight. There are only two genders because you're being transitioned either from a man to a woman or a woman to a man.
And it's like, either way, you're still considered a man or a woman. Like the whole gender thing, even a lot of these idiot politicians are trying to say, oh, well, now there's a difference between sex and gender. Sex means you're male or female. Gender has it. No, gender is the same fucking thing as sex. It's the same term.
It's the same meaning.
It's the same terminology, yeah. So it's like, how can these idiots sit there and brainwash kids, brainwash this generation and saying, oh, there's 150 different genders, but just remember, sex only relies to or pertains to male and female. It's like, no, gender is the same terminology. It's just, it's worded different. You either call it what's your sex or what's your gender. I don't know the whole definition behind the terminology of it, but that's all it is. It's the same terminology as sex. What's your gender, male or female? Like, get over it. You wanna play idiot and say you're a cat? Go right the fuck on ahead. You're just gonna get laughed at, but that's your business.
You want to pretend you're a cat? That's fine. But are you a male cat or a female cat?
Exactly.
You see, that's what I'm getting at. And it seems like they get upset about this, because they get called trans this, trans that. Well, here's an idea. If you don't like that, since every other thing gets broken down into a more politically correct term, right? If you are transitioned from a woman to a man, you should say your gender is male, formerly female.
Yeah. That should be your pronouns right there.
There you go.
There's
Look
your
at that. How is that offensive?
They want to sit there and say, I got pronouns. Okay, there's your pronouns. You're male / former male.
But you see, what I'm saying is, at that point, you can technically say, yes, you are male, right? But you were formerly female.
Yeah.
See? So you get to claim that you are a male.
Yes.
You know, but why deny your past that you were formerly something else at that point?
Exactly.
What's the shame in that? I mean, really?
It's just, looking at everything that we've discussed, it's like there is so much dumbass, ignorant, hypocritical shit that has happened in the last 22 years. Like, 9/11 is still a patriotic day. It's still a day of tragedy and horrific events. But look at everything that has transpired in the last 22 years up to now. It's like we are more divided as a nation than we ever have been. We're supposed to be united. Ever since.
But that day, we were proud.
We were proud that day, yes. And now looking at
we were proud of our country that day.
We were.
You know?
We waved the American flags. We played the music proud of, like Kid Rock, all these country singers, doing all these songs. We're very patriotic. All this stuff that had come out, we were all united as one. But now
we all stood together hand in hand.
Yeah. But now you look at it, we're being laughed at by all these other countries out there. We're tearing each other apart from within. We got people identifying with 500 different gender types. They don't know if they want to be boy or a girl one day or another. They don't know if they want to go to school dressed as a girl or dressed as a cat. I'm going to go to work dressed as a fucking bear. No, better yet, I'm going to go to work dressed as Zelda. There we go. I'm going to take the wig.
And I don't have hate against anybody. I mean, yes, I had a bad experience with furries in the past.
Yeah.
Okay? I had a really bad experience with some furries in the past, but I don't hate them.
Yeah.
All right? Every group's going to have a bad bunch.
Yes, they are.
They always will. But you got to look past those people and go, there's still decent people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, here's the best way for everybody to live. If somebody does not, approve of who you are, just say, fuck them. They ain't worth your time.
Yep. It's like...
And I tried to explain that to so many people in the past, that family can be much more than just blood.
Mm-hmm.
Because your real family can fail you.
That is true. It has been proven.
I know.
Yeah.
I know firsthand.
Yeah.
All right? But I formed a different family.
There you go. And that's the important thing, not blood relatives are always considered family. Like, I have blood relatives that I look at and say, well, you're not my true family anyway, so fuck off. I have my true family. Like, I would consider you as my family. I consider my friends as my family, my fiance, my children, my best friend out there somewhere. He could be considered my family. I look at that like somebody who's close to you. That's what family is. That's who you go to. That's who you rely on.
Yep. I'm his little asshole cousin that nobody talks about.
Yeah, there you go. Just like, speaking of which, I heard from Tim the other night. Tim, he messaged me on Facebook. He's like, "You still doing your channel and all?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still doing it." I was kind of hoping he would say something along the lines of, "Hey, can I come back?" I'll be like, "Shit, you're always welcome to come back. Get your ass in the Discord and talk to us."
He was asking me if I was still doing YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I had other people message me, ask me if I was still doing my podcast.
Damn.
I guess some people miss me doing stuff, but, it's very hard for me to do stuff on my own.
Yeah. And plus, like, I would definitely help you out in a bit, like, if I can... Sometimes if I could find the time, like right now, like if you were live on yours, shit, I would definitely be there. I definitely have the time. Like, shit, we're like, what, 2 hours in?
I would have loved to kept through the doorway going. I really would have.
Yeah.
But it is too much work for me, and I have health issues.
Oh, yeah.
Which is part of the reason it becomes that problem.
Yeah, if you ever want to bring it back, let me know. I'll definitely help you out with it. We always.
Well, I think Loki's a little upset that I shut it down too, and I feel bad. But he's also hoping that I would bring URC back because URC is not scripted.
Yeah, you just go off the rails on it.
And to be fair, honestly, I think my version of Through the Doorway was inferior to the original.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to keep it clean. I was trying to have all this data and have it kind of where it was kind of scripted out. Where originally we just did it as we went.
Yeah.
And I think that might have actually been the better way of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like I may have dropped the ball on that. But I don't know if people want Through the Doorway or the Utter Random Crap podcast to come back. I guess. I don't know. With your podcast here, it gets uploaded to YouTube later, right?
Well, with me streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, it automatically uploads right after I end it. So
okay.
Yeah,
well, if they want those podcasts back, I guess they can leave comments under, when it's posted to YouTube.
Yeah, just let us know, guys. Those of you that are watching and listening, yeah, we definitely revive some of that old stuff. Bring it back. Just for the hell of it. And if Cypher feels like he wants to change the format of it, it is his podcast, so that's how it'll be.
It'll be different this time.
Yeah.
I won't be the actual host.
It'll just be hosted by different people.
I realize me being the actual host means I should actually, be trying to take charge of it and stuff like that, and it takes a strain on me. I'm better off just being a co-host.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I would love to bring it back properly. Because I tried to bring it back 2 times before, and I failed horribly the first time. And then the second time caused a little controversy because my wife didn't think before she said stuff, which almost ruined our friendship, and I felt bad about that.
Yeah, it is what it is, yeah, because we talked about it and all, and we straightened all that stuff out, yeah.
But she wasn't thinking when she was speaking. I didn't catch it. Because I don't know if you can tell in all those videos, but I'm actually in a lot of pain.
Oh yeah, I've known you for years. Yeah, you've endured with a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So I felt so bad about that.
But it's all good now. Yeah.
I still feel bad about it today because it's probably one of the worst blunders I ever did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I told you to keep that other video up. That way, it would never happen again.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
But yeah, everything's all worked out now, and everything's all good. So yeah, we'll definitely get something worked out. We'll bring some stuff back and rework it in there.
Well, I think we'll have to meet in person one day so we can discuss it.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm good. It'll be on a Wednesday or a Thursday, but yeah, we'll definitely we'll do that, or even on a weekend. Well,
to be fair, I know that you're one of your children does karate right down the street from me.
Yeah, she does it Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, yeah.
You could always just hit me up then and say, hey, can you meet me outside of here? You know what I mean?
Well, that could happen too. Yeah, there we go.
Because, I don't live far from there at all.
All right. Yeah, we could do that. Let's see, 2 hours and 9 minutes in. We do got a couple things I'd like to take cover on here.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about this. I definitely want your opinion on this. So, this had to be brought up, of course. Sheriff in New Mexico's most populous county rejects governor's gun ban, calling it unconstitutional. What do you think about this governor who is going above and beyond, saying fuck the Constitution, fuck the Second Amendment, and suspending open carry laws in New Mexico for 30 days.
And the sheriff's rejecting it?
Well, this is what this article is stating. This came out today.
But it's stating that the sheriff's actually rejecting it.
Yeah, I'm going to put this in Discord. For anybody who's listening, it's going to be posted in the Tuned In Live scraps. Yeah, share.
What I have to say is kudos to that sheriff.
Yeah. Yeah, because...
That sheriff's got more balls than the one we got here.
Yeah, tell me about it, because, you know...
The sheriff we got here would bow down to the governor and would stop that, where, in all honesty, the sheriff's supposed to be on the people's side.
Yeah, I know.
So I think that governor is a dickhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck
him.
him.
He just loves him. I gotta say that.
But yes.
I'm wondering how many people are listening to this podcast going, "Wow, that's a fucking reverend."
Yeah. Y'all.
I didn't say I was a good example of one.
You're what, 2 or 3 years in the running, has it?
October 1st will be 3 years.
Oh, nice. So
I never said I was a good example of one, but I am the most real reverend you'll ever meet.
Yeah. So to catch everybody up to date with what we're talking about, so New Mexico, there was apparently a shooting that involved a child, and I don't know if they got the gunman or whatever. I didn't read too much into that story, but the governor of New Mexico stated that there's too much gun violence in the country and too many kids that are being shot. It's involving guns. I'm going to take into account and do something. We're going to suspend we're going to suspend open carry laws in the state of New Mexico for 30 days. Now, I'm in the Discord for the Jeff Hagee show, and one of our listeners today, he was in here. The dude, he calls himself the dude, but I'm not going to call it out by his name. But he stated that he read it as, oh, they're banning open carry laws, which is bullshit. But then I'm like, you got to read more into what was being said. They're not banning it; they're suspending it for 30 days. So here's what you need to know with this. Okay, so the sheriff in New Mexico's largest metro area has vowed not to enforce an emergency order by the governor to temporarily suspend the right to carry firearms in public in and around the city of Albuquerque. Bernalillo County Sheriff, I don't know if I pronounced that right, John Allen said Monday the order is unconstitutional, won't curb gun violence, and could put deputies in danger of political violence.
I agree with all that.
Exactly. Like, I've even stated online, I say, okay, you want to...
Doesn't Tim live in New Mexico?
Oh, God, yeah. I think
that's
he does.
Where he moved, didn't?
Yeah.
I think that's where he moved to, isn't it?
I do believe that. Yeah, I remember seeing New Mexico somewhere in that conversation. Yeah. He does live out there. So, you have one... you have one instant where guns are an issue in their eyes. We're going to curb gun violence. We're going to suspend open carry laws for 30 days. Okay. Nobody can carry a firearm, with the exception of police officers. Okay. So security officers can't, open carry in public. Citizens can't open carry. Let's say a criminal's walking down the street and he's having a joyous day of his life and he's carrying a fucking AR-15. And he opens fire on everybody that he sees. Which,
by the way, an AR-15 is not an assault weapon.
It's an armor-light rifle, yes.
Well, let me put it this way. Our government is trying to see all semi-autos as assault weapons.
And they're not.
An assault weapon is a fully automatic, where in other words, you hold that trigger down, it keeps firing.
Yes, it does.
Semi-automatic, all you got to do is keep pulling the trigger. Big difference. It shoots one bullet each time you pull the trigger.
Yep.
Semi-automatic is just something you don't have to keep cocking to fire.
Yes, it is, yeah.
I'm just trying to make that clear.
Exactly. So, with all of that, like I was saying, they could be carrying anything. They could carry a shotgun, an AR, an assault rifle, a pistol, whatever. They're committing a crime. You got criminals committing crimes in your hometown, and you got there's nobody out there to defend themselves or protect innocent lives. It's like you're you're banning innocent citizens from doing something that could be genuine and provide a service, to helping others. But you're allowing criminals to open carry. They don't give a shit about law. They don't give a shit about policies. When they hear something like, okay, gun zone free, at a school, or okay, they can't open carry in public, they're going to go on the fucking warpath. And it's all because of one person.
Okay, so New Mexico, is that right above Mexico?
Yeah, I imagine, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out exactly where it is. I mean, is it literally like right there, where like you cross from Mexico, you end up in New Mexico?
It borders Texas for the most part, but yeah, probably a third of the border does border Mexico. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying this in a state that's next to a country that has drug cartels in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we not see a problem with that?
Yeah, I know.
You're not exactly going to unarm the cartel if they decide to go through New Mexico.
No, they're not. And that is something that you put that way, yeah, because with that wall being a thing, and now you got a lot of migrants coming in the country. It's like, well, how many of them are smuggling guns in here? They're just pouring right on in.
I mean, I'm sure it's probably sounding like a dumb question. Is New Mexico above Mexico? But you got to think, we got New Hampshire, Connecticut, and stuff, all part of New England.
Yes, yep.
A section called New England, and guess what? It's not near England.
Exactly.
That's why I was asking the question.
Yeah, because
you get what I'm saying? Because we have an area called New England, right? So I wasn't sure if New Mexico was literally at Mexico, or if it was inward a little bit. You know what I mean? Where it was bordered by other stuff. That's why I was questioning.
Well, then again, no stupid there's no stupid questions. Or however that saying goes. It's like, yeah, I'm looking at it on the map here. I had to look it up myself because I'm like, okay, how much of New Mexico borders the country? And about a third of the state borders Mexico, and the rest of it borders Texas for the most part, and maybe just a little smidge of Oklahoma. If you're looking at the south side or the east side of it, but yeah, about a third of it does border Mexico, and that's where the wall is. And that's
the cartel would make it into New Mexico, but that'd be it because they ain't getting through Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Texas is going to make sure. Oh yeah, you only going to come in here with all your firearms. That's for damn sure. But let's see here. Okay, reaction has been swift after Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced the order Friday. Some Republican lawmakers have proposed starting impeachment proceedings, while a guns rights group has filed a federal lawsuit seeking an immediate court order to block it from taking effect. So they're also talking. Yeah, they're talking about impeachment and they're talking about blocking it. You got because you got a governor who's trying to sit there and say, "I'm protecting people. I'm protecting people." Well, how about all these school shootings? Sandy Hook, Virginia Tech. How about all these?
She needs to change her name to some dumb bitch. That way she can be governor some dumb bitch.
Exactly. Like, all these school shootings happen for a reason. It's always somebody who's mentally deranged, or it could be. And a lot of these school shootings, sadly, are used for political spite.
But most of these shootings are also done with guns that were bought off the street.
Yep, exactly.
Almost as if they have a black market problem.
Mm-hmm. So...
almost as if the citizens aren't the problem.
Yeah, but they try to make it... they try to make it the problem. Let's see, the governor... And this is going to shock a lot of y'all listening. This is going to shock the fuck out of you. The governor, a Democrat... said the 30-day suspension enacted as an emergency public health measure would apply in most public areas from city sidewalks to parks. Emergency public health measure.
And this is a picture of her, right?
Yes, that is.
She doesn't look the brightest.
Nah, she looks like a relative of Biden. Or Pelosi in that case. She said that state police would be responsible for enforcing what amount of to civil violations and carry a fine of up to $5,000 if violated. Bernalillo County District Attorney Sam Bregman, who once served as a Democratic Party leader and was appointed by Lujan Grissom, said on Saturday, that has joined Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller and Police Chief Harold Medina, saying that they would not enforce the order. Good. An actual Democrat who's actually speaking something true to the word.
Got a really good question.
Yeah.
Why do we let a bunch of old people run the government and stuff?
Oh my God, that's become an issue recently too. It's funny you say that.
I mean, think about it. They're so out of touch with today's world, they don't even understand fully what's going on.
It's so funny you said that because somebody actually posted that on Twitter and they were asking, I think they were actually looking into it. They're saying, should people of old age be running for any kind of political office? Even Pelosi announced that she's going to make a comeback next year and run. She's 81 years old. I'm like, bitch, stay the fuck away.
She ain't going to win.
No, she ain't.
Ain't nobody going to vote for that drunk bimbo.
Yeah, there was a reason why they voted her
Her own
out.
party doesn't like her.
I know.
Her own party is the reason she lost her original position.
Exactly. They're not going to vote her back in.
God. They ain't going to vote her back in for anything.
No, exactly. Oh. Let's see, this officer, okay. As an officer of the court, I cannot and will not enforce something that is clearly unconstitutional, Bregman said. The top prosecutor in the Albuquerque area. This office will continue to force on criminals of any age that use guns in the commission of a crime. I am wary of placing my deputies. Oh, this is from Sheriff Allen of the county. He was uneasy about how gun owners might respond. He went on to say, I am wary of placing my deputies in positions that could lead to civil liability conflicts, as well as the potential risks posed by prohibiting law-abiding citizens from their constitutional right to self-defense. Medina also noticed that Albuquerque police made more than 200 arrests of suspects in killings in the last 2 years. Lujan Grissom said that she was compelled to act following recent shootings, including the death this week of an 11-year-old boy outside a minor league baseball stadium and gunfire last month that killed a 5-year-old girl who was asleep in a motorhome. The governor also cited the shooting in August of a 13-year-old girl in Taos County. Yes, it is very tragic and sad that children are being random victims of gun violence. Yes, it's sad. It happens. But it's not just children that end up losing their lives, sadly.
But also, you know whose fault it's not is the legal abiding citizens.
Yep.
But yet it's always the legal abiding citizens that get punished. You know who doesn't give a shit about their little ban suspension? The criminals.
Nope. They don't care. They see it as a way of, oh boy.
You know what happens? If you let me hold onto my gun and I see a bad person trying to do something to somebody, I shoot the bad person.
Yeah. But then, of course, you get fined and penalized and jailed for it, even though you should
Only
be a public...
if they live.
Yeah.
Only if they live. That's one thing I flat out warned an officer one day. I flat out told him, you ain't going to see my ass in court to get sued by him because if somebody breaks in my house, they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try to let you live so you can sue me and all this stuff and have a better life than I have.
Yeah, I know.
All because you thought my stuff looked better to you than it does to me and you were dumb enough to break in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you break in here, I'm ending you.
Exactly. Let's see. The governor's order states no person other than law enforcement officer or licensed security officer shall possess a firearm either opened or concealed. So you can't carry a firearm out in public for 30 days. Levison, whoever Levison is, told the Associated Press Friday over the phone that Grissom would draw a court fight, saying the governor was bumping up against the Second Amendment, no doubt about it. He also went on to say, and we have a very conservative Supreme Court that is poised to expand Second Amendment rights. She needs to be held accountable for stripping the God-given rights of millions away with the stroke of a pen. He went on to say in the statement announcing the lawsuit and requested a restraining order. Court hearing was not immediately set yet. The top Republican in the New Mexico Senate, Greg Baca of Belen, also denounced Grissom's order as an infringement on the gun rights of law-abiding citizens. Dan Lewis, who serves on the nonpartisan Albuquerque City Council, called the order an unconstitutional edict. Grissom said gun owners still would be able to transport guns to private locations such as a gun range or a gun store if the firearm isn't in a container or has a trigger lock or mechanism making it impossible to discharge. So she's allowing you to transport guns as long as you can't see them and they're locked up, but you cannot open carry or conceal in public even if you have a license. The governor's orders calls for monthly inspections of firearms dealers statewide to ensure compliance with gun laws and for the State Department of Health to compile a report on gunshot victims at hospitals that includes age, race, gender, and ethnicity, along with the brand and the caliber of firearm involved. So, let's just say a shooting arises within the next 30 days. Just a random shooting. And mind you all, even though police officers and security guards that are licensed to carry, they're the only ones that are allowed to carry out in public. But let's say a shooting happens, and it's not a single police officer or security officer involved whatsoever. What's going to happen then? Are they going to say that somebody broke the laws and they're going to be fined and jailed? Well, guess what? More likely, it's going to be the person who's the criminal carrying the firearm. What are you going to do for them? Are you going to put them in jail for 30 days? Put them in the fucking Hollywood suite? With a fucking 50-inch TV on the wall, a toilet that sparkles and glows, and a fucking Serta bed that they can sleep on, and a fucking...
The sad part is?
Yeah.
You shoot them, you'll get like 30 years. They shoot you, they get, 5 years?
Yeah. It's a complete reverse. You get penalized for protecting yourself or others.
The criminals have more rights than the citizens.
Not only that, let's say you and I...
Let me explain something real quick, Mike.
Yeah.
In Maryland, you know how they passed where you can get a carry permit now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know what they're doing?
What's that?
They're going to introduce a new law to where you can only carry from your house to your car.
Jesus Christ.
I can already carry whatever firearm I want from my house to the car.
Yeah.
But that's what they're trying to do. That's how retarded the state of Maryland is. And I hope that somebody high up in Maryland's government catches me saying this. Fuck you.
I hope they do too. I hope somebody passes this on and say, hey, these guys are guess what we're... Yes, we are. If these people are trying to curb gun violence in some way, they're doing it in the most asinine, retarded fucking way possible. That's like...
And I've already warned people, if they do a confiscation in this state, they'll probably never see my ass again because whoever tries to confiscate my gun's going down with me.
Yeah, exactly.
They can have it once I unload it.
Yeah. That's like, look at Baltimore City and Baltimore County. All those past years where they had this gun-free weekend, the violent-free weekend in Baltimore. Let's not have any. I'm like, how laughable is that?
But it's like, I was just at a doctor's appointment earlier today, right?
Yeah.
In the building, right? They have it posted multiple times. No weapons on this premises.
Yeah.
You really want to post that? You get some crazy motherfucker walking in there, and they see, oh, there's no weapons on this premise. It's like, oh, man, I can gun everybody down.
Yeah.
How dumb is that? Why would you post that?
That's an open invitation for a shooting.
Hey, criminals, we're a weapon-free zone.
Yeah. We don't have any retired police officers or security officers monitoring the school during school hours. But you can go ahead and come on with your AR-15, your AK-47, your M36.
Where's the signs that says, armed guards, fuck around and find out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they took them all down. They probably figured, oh, that's too violent. That's
what you need everywhere is signs that say, armed guards or weapon zone. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they need to say.
This whole thing, you know, like with these people, these politicians trying to curb violence. You know, they hear about it from people that are like, our kids are getting shot in the streets. What are you doing about it? Well, let's see. How about your kids are dying in the streets from drug overdoses? What are they doing about that? They're not doing anything to curb drugs, but they sure as hell trying to.
You know what the ironic part is?
Yeah.
The drugs and the guns are like one and the same.
Yeah.
Because the gun violence is usually linked to the drugs that are being spread around.
Exactly.
That's the ironic part.
It's ironic that we brought that up too.
If you solve one of them, you'd be able to solve the other.
Yeah. And it's like I was saying, it's like, you know, you got kids out there that are dying to drug overdoses. You got people that are dying to drug overdoses. What are you doing to curb the crime involved in that with these gangs selling drugs on the streets? Are you going undercover and arresting them? No, because even if you do that, there's too many out there. Everybody has a connection somewhere when it comes to drugs. Same thing with firearms. You know, you got everybody who's out there, a criminal, they're armed to the britches. But yet you tell citizens, law-abiding citizens, that they cannot go out and defend themselves. You know, how you curbing violence? You're not. When cities like Baltimore saying, we're going to have a violent-free weekend, no guns, none of that. How about you try to curb it by putting your law enforcement out there, hiring some people that are actually willing to do the job, rightfully go out there and do their job. When something happens, they arrest these motherfuckers, book them, and never release them.
I'm trying to figure out how the hell Baltimore's slogan is greatest city on earth.
Jesus Christ. It hasn't been for the last 13 years.
Have you not seen the benches where they actually have it on there? It's the greatest city on earth. No, it's not.
I mean, it may have a
Honestly, if there was a way to sink Baltimore into the ocean, don't you think I would have found out how to do it by now?
Hell yeah. Like, what has Baltimore got to offer? Science Center, Aquarium, the Inner Harbor, all these little attractions in there. What happens? People get mugged, people get stabbed, people get shot. There goes your tourist attraction. About, 10, 11 years ago, we had the Formula One races in Baltimore. Remember when they did that like 2 years in a row? And then the whole Freddie Gray thing went down. There goes that. There that went. You were going to pull some money in with that shit, right? You were going to close off streets and set up a Formula One racing track. You did it 2 years in a row. And then the Baltimore riots happened. And like, oh, no, this city is very unsafe for this. We're done. There went that tourist attraction right there. I really wish Baltimore was a good place. I really wish it was. It used to be, but now
it has so much potential.
It does.
It really does.
But now it's like it's become a cesspool of criminals and violence, and then they look to the Constitution as the Constitution being the criminal. It's like, well, these people have the right to bear arms. They have the rights to tell a citizen go fuck yourself, or tell a criminal to fuck off. We have to attack the Constitution.
And I'm not going to lie, all right? Anybody that knows actually who I am that listens to this, all right? If you happen to see me in Baltimore, chances are I'm armed in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah.
Because I refuse to get out of a vehicle in Baltimore without something on me. Most likely a knife, because you can at least legally carry those.
Yeah.
Although they'll try to tell me, does the blade fit in your hand? Well, luckily for me, I have big-ass hands, so... Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to carry around a spoon. I'm going to sharpen a spoon and take that with me. What's a spoon going to do? A lot.
Funny story about when my dad was younger, somebody actually attacked him with a spoon. It didn't end well for the other guy.
Because I tell you what, all criminals out there, beware. I'm going to sharpen a spoon and I'm going to open carry a spoon. They're gonna name the next slasher movie after me. They're gonna call me Spooner. Oh, what's that movie Spooner based off of? Oh, a citizen that actually goes out and takes care of criminals with a spoon. A very sharpened spoon. Well, what do you mean by spoon? The one you eat with? The one you scoop your Captain Crunch with in your mouth every fucking morning?
I can see it now. A police officer walks up to me while you're messing with a spoon with somebody, right? And they go, what the hell's going on over there? And I go, they're spooning.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that punchline, too. I was thinking about that as well.
Today on the news, there's been a spooning downtown.
We had a severe spooning today. Who was involved? 2 criminals and a bystander.
We asked the guy carrying the fork what he thought, and he said fork it. So...
But then you got to remember that other person that comes in out of nowhere with the butter knife and say, "Have a knife day." I'm gonna butter your biscuits. Have a knife day. Jesus. I mean, just today's society is just so much different than what it was 20-some years ago. Like, how the fuck did we transition from being the strongest nation in the world to being the most sissiest one? That no wonder there's memes everywhere on social media. When something arises, whether it's a crime of some sort or whatever, like, look at all the going back to George Floyd, like, look at all the George Floyd memes that are out there and shit, you know? It's like, how can you take an incident as serious as that and turn it into...
Britain's doing better than us.
Yeah.
Britain's doing better than us, and they're known to like spotted dick.
Yeah.
That's just disgusting.
We are so laughable at ourselves. Like, I understand, like, you know, each generation, like, when you look at, you know, arts and entertainment, like horror movies, for instance, horror movies tend to mimic, or not mimic, but mirror in a way of what's going on in today's generation. You know, it's like monster movies or paranormal movies or whatever. It's something that, you know, like, look at today's world, look at today's society of what's going on. You know, you go to the cinema to be entertained, and horror movies, you know, they have that certain fear that, you know, they put you in that state of, like, relaxation. It's like, okay, something horrific's going on in our country, but this is soothing. Yeah, watching a serial killer gut up a bus of fucking people with a chainsaw. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I like watching that. You know?
This fall in theaters, starring the Fat Squatch, the buttering. No biscuit is safe.
Remember, it's going to be a double feature. You got the buttering followed by Spooner. Dig through your kitchen drawers. This one looks good. Got to sharpen it up. Not the end that you hold the spoon with. I'm talking about the actual spoon part. The round part you shave it. Oh, god damn, I just circumcised a gnat with this.
The spooning. No cereal bowl is safe.
Spoon your cereal with the spoon that I made. It's sharp enough to circumcise a gnat with. Oh, shit.
Directed by the gnat that got circumcised by it.
Oh, Thornton's Outdoors. Hey, I'm back. Hey, what's going on, man? You missed a lot, dude. But yeah, we're getting ready to head on out of here. We spent a little bit of time talking about the incident down in New Mexico. So after this show ends, if you want to rewind back for the last hour or so, last half hour, whatever, you can listen in, chime in on that in the comment section. But yeah, we are 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Hell, and if there's stuff that you think I said that's wrong, feel free to put it in the comments. I'll read it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I think it's what opens a healthy discussion. You know what I mean? It
does. So yeah, anybody who's who chimed in today in the comment section, we definitely thank you guys for being here today on this day, 9/11. In remembrance of those who lost their lives 22 years ago and all. What did you guys think about the show? Do you guys want to share your feelings and your thoughts? Share them down in the comment section below. Right there on YouTube. You feel free to do so. 2 hours and 40 minutes in. We talked a bit about today. I didn't get into the whole Jill Biden thing. I'll cover that next time on an separate episode, because there's a lot I want to talk about that. But yeah, I'm joined with Cypher, old friend of mine. Always good to have him in here.
Or Tom. They can call me either.
There you go.
I don't hide my name.
But guys, if you want to chime in at everything, talking about New Mexico, yes, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, you can go back and rewatch that on YouTube. But yeah, guys, if you ever want to chime in, if you ever want to call in, like I said, Discord link is down below. You can always join us on Discord anytime I'm live. I'm always in the VC. You guys can chime in. We can chat away. Chat away with your opinions and all of what of everything that we're talking about on the show. You're always welcome. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this broadcast. Hope you guys enjoyed today. Tom, you got any closing words for everybody?
Well, for anybody that wasn't around where we were talking about the other podcasts and stuff, like I said, if they want us to actually bring them back, once this is actually uploaded to YouTube, put it in the comments,
Yeah, we're thinking about reviving the Through the Doorway and the URC Utter Random Crap podcast. So if you guys want to see those make a comeback, definitely let us know, and we're definitely going to work on reviving those.
If you guys are curious what those podcasts are like, I think Arrow still has some of the original Through the Doorway.
Yeah, I gotta look through and see. Yeah, they should.
That you can always let them sample, and if you send them to my YouTube channel, they can figure out what the URC was, the Utter Random Crap podcast.
Yeah,
because I still have them all up on there. So
okay,
so they can kind of have an idea what it's like.
Oh, definitely.
But if they want us to bring them back, comment on this video when it's up on YouTube.
All right.
That way we're not getting comments on my channel and stuff like that and getting confused. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, let us know down in the comment section, guys, of everything that you listen here today. Even about the podcast revival and all. And once again, want to thank you guys for joining us on Twitch. Want to thank you guys joining us on YouTube. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below on either or. Links to our social media is also down below. Link to the Discord server is down below also. If you want to come over and join us in Discord, feel free to do so. Updates or more. I'm not going to have a video upload tomorrow because I had no content to film. I will be live. I will possibly be live Wednesday, sometime in the early afternoon, and then Thursday. If you guys are enjoying my brand new pre-recorded podcast, CinemaCast, which is a movie review podcast that I'm doing, episode 4. I will say it right here live. If you guys want to check out episode 4 this week, it's going to be on the horror movie Talk to Me. So be looking forward to that Thursday. And of course, Friday is going to be, I'll probably have another 5-hour stream on Friday. If you guys missed the one from this past Friday where I checked out the game Demonologist, and then Tom joined me for like the latter half of that. It's a good game. It's a lot of fun. It's more terrorizing or terrifying than Phasmophobia. So if you guys want to check that out, that is on our YouTube channel right now. If you want to go back and rewatch that.
Well, normally, if I know ahead of time when you're going to do something, I can join you.
Yeah, I'll let you know on the Discord. Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, guys, thank you for joining us today. Much love. Show support. Wave your American flags today. Give that moment of silence for those who lost their lives on this day 22 years ago. And until next time, catch you guys on the flip.
What we do here is go back, 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 back.